What's going on, Internet? The Black Hokage here, aka TBH, and to be honest, I'd like to welcome you guys back to the Gaming Illuminati podcast. We are the Enlightened Gamers, and this is episode 102. Now, before we get into the show, just know I got to introduce my co-host, the first of which is still adjusting to daddy duties. He's got a dad hat on now while we're recording. UTX JG Don, say what up to the people.
What's good? We are going back to back. You already know. Let's get it.
Yes, sir. And my second co-host loves to remind you he's a game developer every 5 minutes, so I'm sure he'll contribute at least 25% to this conversation. Ethos, say what up to the people.
Yo, what up, everybody? I'm a game developer. How y'all doing today?
And my guest today, he goes by GB Kid. Say what up to the people. Shout out your social medias, whatever you want, man.
What's going on, everybody? If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's Sensei Passe. But when it comes down to it, that's about it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And if you want to appear on the next episode, be sure to back us on Patreon at patreon.com/GI updates. We take the show on the go. Also take the show on the go. The podcast is available on Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud, and all major podcast outlets. Be sure to rate this show 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. It helps us move up the algorithm, as well as download the GI app, blah, blah, blah. Oh, we got merch too. Designedbyhumans.com. Search Gaming Illuminati. Cop a t-shirt. All right, now the games for August, they have been released, the free games that we're going to be getting on the Xbox. You guys will be getting Portal Knights, Override, Mech City Battle, MX Unleashed, and Red Faction 2. And then for PlayStation, you get the Modern Warfare 2 remaster. Keep in mind that does not have multiplayer, it's just the story. So if you want to relive your dreams of no Russian, do it in HD. Go ahead. And then Fall Guys. Don't laugh at that. That was a very serious moment.
Okay. Okay.
Wow, you're laughing at mass homicide. You're a fucking
it's virtual characters. Sure.
Anyways, let's get into the starting conversation. So, I was thinking about how since the last podcast, since we're in 2020 and we're going into a new generation, and the new consoles are on the horizon and we're halfway through 2020, I thought it was fair to finally have a conversation about our top 5 games of the generation, and we're keeping it at 5 because there's 4 of us in this Discord right now, so this might be a long conversation. 10 would be too long. At this point, I think in 2020 the only major game that's coming out is what?
2020 doesn't count.
Cyberpunk? Oh, so we're counting that into the next generation?
Well, 2020 is the start of the new generation, so it doesn't count towards.
Yeah, and then Cyberpunk also is going to be a next gen game too. So I was like, that's the only other major release. So I thought it was fair at this point in the year.
We're talking like decade, or are we just talking like just the whole?
Okay,
shebang?
So the way
Are we talking about console generation?
Console generation, but it's kind of weird because the Wii U is in there. So 2014 to 2020 is what I made my list off of.
Okay.
Because the PS4 came out 2014 as well as the Xbox.
Okay.
And then the Wii U and the Switch.
Okay, so not like the decade, so not starting like 2010.
No. So 2014 to 2020.
Okay, well, let me act something off real quick.
This guy.
All right. Okay.
So we're gonna have a conversation about our top 5 games of this console generation. So that would be the Wii U, Switch, Xbox One, PS4, PC. And since you are the guest, I'm going to give you the show floor, GB. You don't have to do a number. Do y'all want to do numbers, or are we just going to give off 5?
Nah, let's just list 5.
Numbers so we can torture people.
Yeah.
No, I don't agree.
All right. So give us your first one, GB, and why you picked that one.
The first one on my notes is Sekiro, and the reason why is because like the different type of play style that From Software has that separated itself from Dark Souls. It's not really a hack and slash that people originally thought it was going to be, but you actually feel the swordplay in the game. The game is overall beautiful, and it has a lot of replayability. Like, I can go back into it and see how fast I can rush through the bosses before like a certain time point. And I don't know if anybody heard, but the new update is adding a lot of stuff for a lot of the pro players and even casual players to even come back and earn some new challenges. So I do think it definitely belongs in my first number 1 spot.
I read they were adding a boss rush mode in it. Like, does that do anything for you?
Yeah, matter of fact, like a lot of the challenges that they're adding is something that the community put in themselves, like mods. But they were like, instead of just modding it, why don't we just put it in ourselves? And then so people who don't have access to the mods can just do it themselves. And so I think that's like being fair towards all the fans instead of just the fans who can really access the mods.
So Ethos, JG, y'all were big fans of Sekiro. Y'all actually finished the game. Fuck that game. Does boss rush mode do anything for y'all?
Yes, absolutely. I would play it again. As a matter of fact, GB Kid beat me to it. Yeah, Sekiro would also be on my list. I might as well just say it here then. Yeah.
So wait, you think it would be fun to fight the monkey and then fight the final boss like right after?
Yeah. Like that dude Ishin is like, granted, like that was torture, but like once you beat him once, it's just like you feel like a god. So I mean, I'd love to like, get my muscle memory back and just immediately just play the bosses again. Like those are like the most fun parts of the game. Like the exploration, everything else, that's cool. But really, like my favorite thing about Sekiro was a lot of the bosses in the game.
I think this is why we need to have a conversation about mental health in the Black community. What you
okay, all right. Matter of fact, this is perfect for JG because JG swore he was gonna play the game again, so he'd fight Saint Ishin. So I mean, now he can. So
I'll get there eventually.
I mean, now you don't need to. You could just wait till this update, and then you could probably boss rush him.
Maybe, yeah. So I don't even have to play through the other stuff.
Yeah, you gotta go through all the other stuff to get to him. Yeah,
yeah. Maybe I'll destroy my mental health one day.
Make sure you stream it.
I'll stream it.
We'll be getting the clips ready. Jay, give us your first one on your top 5.
Yeah, I mean Sekiro is on there. I feel like that's one of the last games that I feel like just changed the whole way that like you play those type of games. And I never ever thought that I would like a game like that because I'm so not for the masochist torture, but Sekiro definitely changed my mind to these type of games. So I would definitely have to agree with GB those.
Okay, so I guess I'm gonna be different. The first one off my list, I put Rainbow Six Siege. Although I don't play it, we play it kind of casually. Like we always get that itch, like once a month or once every other month. I cannot deny the fact that I played Rainbow Six Siege from 2015 till about 2018 consistently. And like you don't play a game for 3 years because you kind of sort of like it. Like we played that game a lot on stream. We recorded a lot of videos. We had a lot of funny moments. I mean, I didn't expect myself to like a game like that because normally I don't really like tactical shooters like that. But like the destruction of the environment, even though it's really campy, I guess the destruction of the environment, all the different abilities and kind of the chess, and just the thrill of getting the kill in that game. I think the shooting is much better than, because I hate CSGO and Valorant. I just think that Rainbow Six Siege deserves some love, and it's still going strong and it's still growing. I feel like not enough people talk about Rainbow Six Siege. It's goated in terms of this generation, in my opinion. So that would be my 5.
Yeah, that's on my list too.
Damn. Okay. Give me a different one off the. Oh wait, no. Let's go with Ethos. Give me one off your list, Ethos.
Rainbow Six Siege, baby.
All right, so you and GB, explain
a lot of
this
is going to overlap. I feel a lot of us are going to overlap on a lot of games.
I think I'm gonna have some different stuff though. But go ahead.
I think I have
Rainbow.
I mean, just like what you said, like that was a huge gap of our lives. For like a good 2 years, we were like, that was our main game.
And we dropped games like it's nothing.
Really
we have
ADHD. Yeah, the thing is, like, well, GI, like we have ADHD when it comes to games. So like a lot of times, like, we'll play games for like a month or maybe like a week or something like that, and then we'll drop it. But like games that hold our attention for more than a month and we're playing them 6 months, a year after, like they have to be up there on the chart. And so Rainbow Six Siege, were like, for me, like kind of in a way, brought tactical shooters back to like the mainstream, because before then, like it felt like tac shooters were really falling off. Like I don't recall a lot of like tactical shooters that were like very popular before that. But like
that's
Rainbow
actually
Six,
a good point. Yeah, there was nothing.
Like it revitalized. It did a lot of innovative things that I've never seen in a game before, like the whole breaching mechanic and all that sort of stuff, where like you could break like multiple parts of the environment in order to like get shots on people. The characters were really cool. Just everything about that game, and like how we bonded, like as like Tour of Duty. That Tour of Duty was amazing. Like we had a lot of Tours of Duty, but like that, I think out of all, like that was my favorite Tour of Duty. Like when it was like all of us, like with Anon, like it nothing comes barely close. I can think in GI's history of tours of war that come close to that. Maybe PUBG's a close second, but Rainbow just hit different. So that's why I'll never forget about our time playing Rainbow Six Siege.
What about you, GB? Why'd you pick Rainbow?
I think the biggest thing about Rainbow that's like makes it like number 2 on my list is actually due to the fact that it's kind of what's the same with y'all. Like me and my friends still play it to this day. Like I remember, but the only reason like that we would have to take breaks from it is because we would all go back to college and stuff, so we wouldn't have time. But like it was in between those breaks of college, like winter break, summer break, like spring break, we would always come back to Siege no matter like how many games we had on a rotation, that was our first rotation, and we can play like for hours nonstop. I'll grant it, like I do remember me, like if Ethos was in the because he had, I think, his live up when we were all putting in the tiers, but it's definitely a top tier game even after what happened with the first year. But even though the first year is super toxic to like everybody, I have to admit that I have the most memories out of the first year of Siege. A lot of toxic and funny memories with me and my friends from Siege. So I will say it's like, yeah, I will say like it's up there due to the fact that it actually did something different from like being a standalone multiplayer game, and it made, even when you're playing casual, it makes you feel like you're playing ranked, especially when you have a full team. And on top of that too, if you have like, you had so many of your friends who were playing Siege, you had 5v5s and custom games. So like, you know, everybody being in like separate discords or separate parties, if you're playing on console, like, and then coming together after match to just talk shit, that's the best. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was the greatest feeling about Siege. It's just being with the homies.
Okay. JG, give me one off your list.
All right, I got a different one. Now, even though I never played this game, I'm going to recognize it here, and I'm going to say H1Z1, because even though this game has not been the most popular, it literally kick-started the whole battle royale genre. Like, if it wasn't for this game, it wasn't for somebody making a mod and decided to make it a battle royale game, I don't think that we would have had the PUBGs, I don't think we would have had the Fortnite. Like, there are so many companies that are still making battle royale games. Take Ubisoft, they just made
Apex.
one. Like, so yeah, Apex now, which is, I would argue, is probably my favorite, shooter to play. Like, I didn't think that I would even be into battle royale games. And you gotta give it up to H1Z1 and what they did. Like, just who would have thought that, just drop 100 people into one map and then just have them fight it out, and like the satisfaction that you get when you win. Like, I feel like I didn't really get that satisfaction like when you just win a regular round of Call of Duty versus when you actually get a battle royale win, and especially like if you're solo, winning it by yourself and just surviving 99 other players. So it's pretty good. Now, even though battle royale genre now as a whole, because it ends up being like this with pretty much every other genre that comes out, it's kind of played out, but I still enjoy certain battle royale games. I gotta give it up to H1Z1 for literally kickstarting the whole battle royale genre to what it is today.
Interesting pick. I'm gonna give y'all one. I'm gonna go with God of War. This wasn't I'm not even a big God of War fan, but like I really enjoyed this reboot on the PS4. The game was visually stunning. It had some of the best set pieces of the generation in my opinion. The combat was good, and then it was like semi-open world. I actually hope that more games kind of adopt this kind of gameplay loop where like I'm just tired of really open world games, and like this one was like just open world enough. It let you explore, but then it was still easy to kind of stay on the path. It just had a few side missions there, and then the side missions were rewarding if you did them with the upgrades. The story was great. That ending, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but just that was one of my favorite endings, and I actually really look forward to the sequel because it's really rare to catch me off guard. Like, I feel like if you've ever paid attention in school and you understand the concept of writing, it's pretty easy to predict what's gonna happen in the story and the climax. But this one actually threw me for a loop, and like I gotta give Sony, what is it, Santa Monica Sony, I gotta give them their flowers for that, because that shit was fire. And then also I remember too, like some of my favorite moments of God of War was not even just the combat, but just like the moments from between the action when you were traveling in the boat with the son, and like just some of the life lessons he was given like as a father, like, and I'm paraphrasing, but like one of my favorite moments of the game where he was just telling the boy to mind his business is like one of the best things that he could do for his life and shit. I was like, this game gets it, bruh. This motherfucker dropping gems, and I don't even know if people were even paying attention, but Kratos is that dude, so I gotta give love to God of War. GB, give me one.
It's probably pretty obvious that it had to be on like somebody's list, but Persona 5. And I will say the reason why I put Persona 5 on my list is because even though if you played like Persona 4, or if you're new to the series, Persona 5 is actually like a gateway into the other games. And even though they kind of messed up with the animation, where they didn't make it as attractive as Persona 4's animation, I will say that, and I'm talking about the anime, but Persona 5's music, story, the different style of gameplay that separates it from the other games, and the overall characters of it can really just bring someone into the actual series of like Persona. Because you'll want to play Persona 4. Persona 4 is great too, so you want to play the other ones to feel that greatness as well. And it kind of captivates you when you watch it, and when you hear it especially too, because that music is just completely fire.
So you're saying 5 is the anchor point? Because the first Persona I ever played I played Persona 4 Golden on the PS Vita, and like that shit turned me off from the franchise to like, it was just so much talking. Like is 5, at least the dialogue, is it interesting? The dialogue wasn't interesting in 4 to me.
Yeah, I will admit, like, what got me into Persona first was the anime. The Persona 4 anime got me into it first. Then I played 5. I knew about 4's gameplay, but I still wanted to go back and play it. Matter of fact, when it came out on PC, I bought it that week, and then I'm still playing it right now. You know, it's like my downtime game when I'm not streaming. So like, I'll be like, nah, that game's for me, and I'll use that for like, you know, for my downtime. And it's still fun overall. And I guess it's just because I'm an RPG type of dude, but I will say like, it can turn off like people, because like when it comes down to it, you're right. Like most of it's just talking, especially when you're like in the summertime and you're just like, it's the summertime arc of the game and you're basically just hanging out with your friends. So yeah, I'll give you that for Persona 4. Yeah, I'll admit that.
I don't think, because I'm an RPG dude too. I don't think the talking is what bothered me. It was the fact that it just wasn't interesting to me, because Mass Effect is like 90% dialogue too. But like, I found it to be interesting. So it's a case by case basis. Ethos, you got Persona on your list?
Actually, no, but I'd say it's an honorable mention.
Okay, interesting. I just wanted to ask that. All right, what you got for me then, Ethos?
What is this, third?
Yeah, 3.
Right. Okay, so this is tough because like it's like there's like 3 games that. Okay, I'll say Titanfall 2. I mean, that's a given for me. Like, I'm a huge Titanfall stan. I feel like Titanfall 2 is, honestly, in my opinion, there's like this and another game that I feel like are the 2 most underrated games of this entire generation. I feel like in retrospect, in the future, people are going to go back and realize like how great these games actually were and how the community didn't really appreciate them. Titanfall 2 was just like it for a FPS. It just did it all, and it did it all like to a high caliber. Multiplayer was fire. It had a co-op mode that was fire. It has single player, which I would argue is one of the best single player campaigns of the decade. Like almost bar to like none can compare to it. Has unique mix-ups. The pacing of it was really good. Just a little bit tad short, but every moment of that campaign was just memorable. And like the multiplayer, like they overhauled everything that was about like what was good about the first multiplayer for Titanfall. They added like boatloads of content. The play-by-play was cool. It was a different game than a lot of other shooters. Just overall, it was just a fantastic game. So yeah, that's probably why it's probably one of my favorite games of this generation.
Well, I'm actually just gonna go ahead and throw it out too. I actually put that on my list too. I put Titanfall 2 as mine. And you know, it's crazy. I put Titanfall 2 on my list as well. And it really hurt my heart because in reality, I have far more hours on Apex Legends, but I still have to give it up to Titanfall 2 because if the community supported it, I would be on that game till this day. It is a superior game. Apex Legends is a watered down Titanfall, and it blows my mind that people support it. Maybe because it was free, they supported that, but they didn't support Titanfall 2. The story was very like, it's how rare is it that we say a first person shooter has a good story? Like, what? The multiplayer was great, just running around on walls. Half the time I didn't even get in the mech suit. I like playing just as the pilot. I was one of the few people that liked the pilot versus pilot mode. Trolling with the smart pistol. Just man.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Yeah.
That was the worst thing they ever devised.
That shit was great. That shit was great. It's made for people like me, people who like the armor lock.
Yeah, trash kids. Yeah, I mean,
people who like the armor lock and crab walk. That's who people love it.
I know, like. In Titanfall 1, like it was the smart pistol, everybody had it. In Titanfall 2, they did dumb it down. It's funny how y'all say it's Titanfall 2 is on your list because it's on mine as well the whole time. Yeah.
Okay, talking shit.
Titanfall 2, I ignored Battlefield and Call of Duty when
yes,
Titanfall 2 came out, and I played Titanfall 2 literally for like an entire year straight without hopping off of it. And then the only reason why I stopped playing was because the community died out. They was on to another Battlefield or was it Battlefront, and they were on to another Call of Duty. and that's like why I had to die off of it too. But I remember, matter of fact, when Ethos said, "Yo, PlayStation made it free. Everybody's back now." I came back. I was on Xbox for Titanfall 2, and then I went to PlayStation, and then I had to rebuy it when I built my PC because I love Titanfall 2 that much.
Yeah, like there's something special about a game that, like, think about it, like it's been almost what 4 to 5 years, and like it came to a new platform, and it immediately, like, people bought it. It was overwhelmingly received, and like a lot of people jumped on. Like there's that's something special. Like not all games can just do that after 4 years of being like hibernating. That like just the I kind of say it's similar to the Deus Ex effect, which is like this meme that like if anyone brings up Deus Ex, it immediately makes somebody want to go and download and play it again. I feel like Titanfall has that same effect as well, where if someone brings up Titanfall 2, you meet like people who love that game immediately get the urge of, dang, I want to play it again, and they'll go and play it again. And I feel like that's kind of like what Titanfall like will always do. And to give it props to, like, granted it got destroyed sales wise, but like think about those other 2 games. Like it went up against the juggernauts of the FPS, and I'd argue, and I'd stand by it, it destroyed them from like a from a critical standpoint, from like an actual like how fun were these FPSs.
And also it's the only one of those 3 that's still alive between Battlefield, Call of Duty, and Titanfall. That's actually wild to think about.
Yeah, how many people are still talking about Battlefield 1? How many people are still talking about Infinite Warfare? Not barely anyone's talking about those games now, but people still talk about Titanfall to this day. And I think that's remarkable.
Yeah, because the biggest thing that like people mainly talk about too is how like EA dropped the ball, and like they blame EA so much because they were like, "Yo, you killed a game
honestly one of your best games."
Yeah, like honestly one of your best games, and the community and people who haven't even played the game, who just watch people play it, are like, yeah, this game's a whole lot better than Battlefield 1. And then Infinite Warfare, like nobody even cared about that game, you know, like on the outside, because like if you go on YouTube, it's still like isn't it like the most disliked game? And then people still bought that over Titanfall, and then after people keep talking about Titanfall, they regretted it. So you gotta give Titanfall 2 its flowers, I will say.
Flowers.
Man, I just had like the epiphany. Can we talk about how hard Battlefield has fallen off? Like, I'm trying to think, was there one this generation that like I genuinely enjoyed? Because I remember I used to love Battlefield 4, and I liked 3 when I played it too. I was a little late to that one, but like Battlefield 4 was the one that I was on heavy. Yeah. And I played that game for like a good year and a half, but like there was no Battlefield like this generation that like
because they went in the past. Nobody liked it.
No one likes the past, bro. We're done with the past. We're black.
Even though I would say that Battlefield 5, even though like I had my initial skepticism, me and Ethos, I actually enjoyed it. It just kind of just fell off because like nobody was playing it.
Yeah,
none of them were like particularly bad, but they were just kind of like it was like missing something.
Nothing was memorable. Be it like I say this, like the newest games of the generation, like this gen so it was only Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5. The problem is like they're not very memorable. Like I still remember Battlefield 3 Metro, like rushing together like against the Russians, pushing into the subway. I still remember like Davent's Peak, where Halo jumped off of that building, like and just playing Rush in Battlefield 3. Like I still remember those things. And BF4, I remember all the trauma we had because that game was busted for 12 months, but we still played through that game, and it was so broken. Like that's a sign that like you have a good game if people are really
Revolution.
Yeah, well, the Levolution. I'm all like,
oh my god,
yeah,
Levolution.
These things are memorable that like we never will forget about. But like you think about BF5, and like I liked BF5 gameplay wise. Like I like me and JJ said, like it felt a lot like BF3 from like a time to kill standard, and like it just felt a lot like BF3. But none of those games had really anything memorable about them. They just had like the Behemoth, but that was kind of meh. I mean, Operations maybe was kind of cool, but that was just like glorified Rush. So it was like I don't know. Nothing was like memorable.
I think the biggest thing that Battlefield did was they killed off Rush in their new game, in the newest games. Yeah, because like in Battlefield 3 and 4, Rush and Conquest were the only way to go. You know what I mean? And then when it came down to the newest games, like they killed off like the biggest thing that people wanted was like, yo, can you bring back like something like have us remember something about like not saying put Metro in the game, but like have a map that's like, yo, we have to make that push like Metro, because the biggest thing that people love about Metro was that elevator or the escalator push. Like when you have people who are in the center and people are trying to go on the right side, you didn't have that because they made it too open. So sometimes like either you're trying to go literally you're walking 2 minutes to the middle ground to die. Hopefully somebody took a point, or they pushed up and made the checkpoint for rush for you to actually get back into the fight. Because sometimes if you have to go all the way back to the spawn, you got to go another 2 minutes to actually see an opponent, and nobody wants to play that. I was actually part of the community who wanted a Battlefield Vietnam, and there, like, I know like a lot of people were like, yo, just if you want to go back in time, do it Vietnam, because you did it right for Battlefield Bad Company 2.
I wouldn't be opposed to seeing something like that. Yeah, it's disappointing to see kind of where that series has gone, but it is what it is. Maybe EA will pick it up, maybe they won't. Probably won't. Jay, give me one.
I want to throw Overwatch on this list. Hey, I mean, no matter how you feel about it, I mean, they took a risk with a hero type of competitive shooter, and it worked. I mean, they spent a lot of money on that, and it's one of the biggest competitive games in the world, and we did enjoy it when we first played it. Like, everybody was fiending, trying to get into that beta, including us when we got into it. Like, it was fun for the moment. It became super toxic, and definitely the ceiling got crazy because there are like some insane people on there, and we don't play it anymore. But still got to give it up to like what Overwatch was when we enjoyed it and what Overwatch is now. Regardless of, again, how you feel about it, it was like a hero shooter. It's like we have seen something similar, but I just think that they ended up just, regardless of what buffs or nerfs that, you may care or not care about, I still think that overall, like, just the game as a whole, they did a good job with it.
No, you're right. I would have put that in my honorable mentions. I wouldn't have put that in my list, but I wouldn't. Yeah, you're right. Does anybody have anything to add to Overwatch or not?
It was cool.
It was cool.
It was cool. I can see why it'd be in somebody's top 5. It's definitely one of the best games of the generation, even though it kind of fell off hard, but whatever.
Yeah, it's an honorable mention. Like that was in the rotation between Siege and Overwatch.
Yeah.
I got one. I got a different one for you. This is a controversial pick. I'm gonna go with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, baby. 180 hours. 180 hours. This is my personal list. This is what I enjoyed. I told you it's gonna be controversial. You're mad. You're mad. You're mad. I had 180 hours worth of fun. I'm sorry. Listen, how long have y'all known me? How often do I buy DLC?
A lot.
That's a lie. Get the fucking podcast, bro. I almost never buy DLC, bro. I bought all the DLC. I played through the story. Granted, I do think Origin Story is better than Odyssey's, but it was still good. And it really pains me to put Odyssey over because he's a black man and shit. I put Origins. I put Origins in my honorable mentions, but Odyssey was just. The game was just fun to me. Like, all the different abilities, the skill trees, the world was beautiful. The mechanics, it was padded. That's a completely fair criticism that a lot of people have of the game. I completely agree with that, but that still doesn't change the fact that like I enjoyed the core gameplay loop. And I was like, I personally feel like you don't put 180 hours in by accident. What's her name? Cassandra, like, she was a very fleshed out character with lots of different elements to her. There were specific missions that I still remember to this day, like the mission where you had to help some townspeople clean up because some people were moving in. They were gentrifying the neighborhood, and one of the local Greek dudes, he was mad and he said, "We need to make Athens great again." And I literally had like a pause moment. I said, "Wait, make Athens great again?" I was like, "Does that spell MAGA?" I was like, "Yo, Ubisoft is funny, bro." I'm sorry, this game was lit. If you really take, like, I don't know, like I feel like it was a labor of love. It's not gonna be for everybody, and I understand that like the series kind of has moved away from a lot of different things that people liked in the series, but it's like, it's one of those things, is like when I turn my brain off and then like, is it a fun game? That's what matters to me most. I'm always going to be gameplay first. Was it a fun game? Yes, it was fun to teleport around and stab niggas. Sorry, I enjoyed it. So I would put that one. I think everybody has one more, right?
Not two.
Yeah.
Two, you got two. All right, you got two. Jay, you go first then.
All right, so I'm gonna give you another Ubisoft game. Even though I did thoroughly enjoy Odyssey, I'm gonna throw Watch Dogs 2 on this list.
That was on my honorable mentions. If it was a top 10, I would have put that too. Ooh, I agree.
No, definitely got to throw it on my list. Oh, they definitely redeemed themselves for Watch Dogs 1, even though like it seemed like everybody in the world hate that game except for me. I didn't think it was that bad, but Watch Dogs 2 definitely made up for it. It's really to the point that, you know, people were getting mad at Ubisoft just last month because they didn't get their code immediately for Watch Dogs 2, and we've been telling people stop sleeping on that game. Like, I get it. Watch Dogs 1 may have left a bad taste in your mouth, but Watch Dogs 2 was totally worth it. First of all, you got a black main character. Second of all, we got some gems in there, like when he was talking to his boy who worked at the fake Google. I forgot what the name of it was, but yeah, Google.
I think it was Doodle. I think it was Doodle.
Yeah, whatever it was. But you know, you were dropping gems about, you know, being the only black man working there and stuff like. So it's a lot of things that like just made me think overall about it, and I feel like I don't get that as much when it comes to just regular video games, because I mean, even though like representation isn't as important to me, when you do get, you know, somebody who looks like you, it does like do something else to your psyche when you can like relate to certain things like that in video games too. And just overall, like the game was fun, the game was beautiful. Like I enjoyed you know, seeing Oakland and San Francisco. Like Ubisoft did a really, really good job with that game.
That game actually made being an Uber driver fun, because there was Uber driver missions in it. But if I could give Ubisoft their flowers, because people love to shit on there, if I could add on to what JG was saying to go a little bit more in detail, people slept on this game. I personally believe that Marcus's character was so fleshed out and written well. I remember me and Ethos had this conversation. I didn't realize this until I was editing my Watch Dogs 2 review. I was looking for like clips of me shooting people, and I literally could only find one mission where I used a sniper rifle. And
you really have to.
Yeah, it was no. It was because it was, and I only had to use that sniper rifle because it was so many people on my ass. Like I felt like I had to shoot. But 99% of that game, I used the stun gun, and I used my drones and stealth, and I just took people out. And I was sitting there editing the review, and I was like, I wonder. And I came to the realization, I was like, the reason I never killed anybody in the game is that character was so well written. I didn't believe he would kill anybody. Like Marcus was just a good dude, and like I feel like that's a very rare thing to get, and that's why I always recommend people like, yo, don't sleep on Watch Dogs 2. They gave it away for free. Like, fuck him being black. Marcus was just a good character, and like you felt for him, his story, like the way that it started off with him being being accused of something, that he didn't do, which is another kind of like underlying theme in terms of what it means to be black, and him trying to clear his name. I don't know. It was a really dope story. It's one of those games that like it doesn't. I put it kind of somewhere in with Titanfall 2. Unfortunately, because Watch Dogs 1 kind of wasn't that good, a lot of people didn't give 2 a chance. But like, I encourage everybody, if you can get it on a sale, that game was great. That game was absolutely great. Ethos, give me one.
All right. Yeah, y'all know what it is. Since you want to talk about trash or Odyssey, you know I got to put the GOAT up there. Witcher 3. There's no doubt, without a doubt, it's probably one of the best games of this generation. I say at this time, currently sets the standard of like the best open world. I don't think there's been a game since that has that much content, that much depth, that much detail in it to this day. No game has been able to touch it. I agree with Anon. I agree with Anon on the sentiment of Witcher 3 is game of the year until a game can like surpass it, which I don't feel like any open world game to this date has done. Just everything about it was really good. There's a couple of Griffin. Yeah, Slay the Griffin. Well, you know, TBH didn't get past the Griffin, but like
I actually did.
Oh, you did? Okay, I haven't seen you play it since. But besides that, like the game is. It's just insane. I've never played a game with that much depth, that much detail. Like it took months for me to beat that game. And like, as y'all know, like I'm fast with my games. Like I can get through games really fast, but like this game actually took me like a lot of time because like I wanted to kind of like how TBH is about Odyssey. Like it was one of those few open world games where I wanted to run around. I wanted to find everything. I wanted to discover every little quest, every little like I wanted to go around. They had a damn card game inside of this game, and I went and ran around and played it like Yu-Gi-Oh, and I was like beating everybody up, collecting all their cards, like trying to become like the most powerful Gwent master in the entire game. That was insane. The story and like Ciri like was an amazing character. A lot of the characters in that story are amazing. The Baron, I still says, has like it's one of the best quests like stories written ever, like I've ever seen written. his like the way they written the Baron is like seriously some of the best writing ever. Their DLCs were fire. Hearts of Stone has some of the best like narrative writing I've ever seen in a game. Blood and Wine had like amazing visuals and amazing world building and just an amazing environment to run around that would just blow your eye sockets out. Overall, like there's no doubt in my head, like there's some little cons with it. Like the combat could have been a little bit more tighter. Sometimes like I would say like the final boss in the base game isn't really that interesting, like Aridin, but like everything else though is just so ridiculously good and so like detailed and just there's so much in this game and so much value in this game that it would be a crime not to put it at least somewhere in the top 5 or top 3 of some of the best games we ever had this generation. So
it ain't in my list. Spoiler alert.
I don't care. You didn't play it.
Well, in my defense, I accidentally poured water in my PC.
Yeah,
I just never came back. It was hold on. In my defense, I was like 15 hours into the game, and I accidentally poured water into I knocked the cup over, and the water went into my PC. And like it was just I didn't want to start over. Like, but I feel like if I would have beat that game, it probably would be on this list.
As somebody, if you loved Odyssey, you would 100% love Witcher 3.
I keep telling myself I'm going to come back to it one day.
Because like that's why I liked Origins a lot. Because Origin basically copied the Witcher 3 blueprint and applied it to the Assassin's Creed, and it worked. It was like, holy shit, this game's really good. That's why. So like, yeah, if you like Odyssey, if you like Origins, like 100% you'll love Witcher 3.
I liked what
There's
I
no
played.
doubt in my mind.
It's just I didn't beat it, so it's like I don't think it's fair for me to put that on.
Hey,
my
you know,
list.
if you're ever bored, go ahead and play it again.
Maybe when there's nothing to play, that might be like my challenge to finally finish that game, to see what the hype's about. What's the name? You got one more for me, right, GB? Yeah, go ahead.
It's actually The Witcher 3. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, talk your shit.
There it is.
Like when it comes down to it, like when JG was like, yo, think of your 5 in this generation, I had to like go through all the games that I played since Xbox One and PS4 came out. And like the only one that I know it was like a weird, like, you know how people say when you get on Twitter, you like first go like, I don't know if this is for me. And then you hop off it, come back to it in a few months and you love it. That was kind of how it was for me with Witcher. Like I didn't understand it at first, but then after I think I was watching you play it when you did I'm trying to think what video it was. I think it was Zabuza. I'm trying to think. Yeah, when you were trolling with Zabuza or something. I came back and played it, and I fell in love with the game due to the fact of the matter being that there was so much to do. Like I didn't feel the need to rush it. I felt the need to actually take my time and enjoy every aspect of like the side quest, the bounty missions, hunting, and then just like making sure Geralt looks decked out as possible.
Yeah.
And like, cause it's like, I think the hardest thing that I ever had to do was like hunt bears. And that was like more fun hunting bears in this game than it was in like Red Dead Redemption. So when it comes down to it, like I had the most fun with this game just by like traveling. And then of course the story I do enjoy. I will admit, like what Ethos just said, like the ending has like a little bit of lackluster. You feel like there could have been like something a little bit more, but overall, like even there's like a debate right now which is the best DLC, and then the Witcher 3 DLCs are the best DLCs right now. Like everybody is all came to an agreement. So I will say like the Witcher 3, you got to give it its flowers as well. And that's why it's like it's not my like top, but it's in my top 5.
There wasn't a lot of great DLC this generation. Most DLC's trash. That's why I don't buy it. Lair of the Shadow Broker is still the best piece of DLC ever. Yes, sir. Jay, you got one more for me?
Yeah, now this one is technically not this generation, but it spans across it. And again, it's one of those series that spawned a whole bunch of games like it, and that's the Walking Dead series by Telltale. I gotta give them their flowers, because I didn't think that anybody would enjoy games like this, because this is basically what games were like on the PC, like way back in the day. 90s. Yeah, it was a lot of games like this where you just walk and you have a lot of dialogue, and you got to figure out things and pick up things. Like I didn't think that people would enjoy stuff like that, but I think that what Telltale did in this generation that spawned other games like this, they did like bring in a little bit more interactivity in it and give you a chance to save yourself or die, whatever, like all the QTE cutscenes and stuff. But I just think that they just did an amazing job just story wise, and ended up spawning a lot of other series like the Batman series, Borderlands, the Game of Thrones, like you name it. Like it just spawned so many other series, and then you have Don't Nod doing their series as well. So again, like I just think that they were kind of the go-to situation to spawn games like this, these interactive games, and put them back on the forefront.
Life as a teenager, so I gotta blame them. It's a shame too because they don't exist anymore.
Well, I mean, Life is Strange is.
Oh, and they made Wolf Among Us.
Yeah, and Wolf Among Us, which is coming back finally. Oh my god!
So you just giving it up to the studio then?
Well, he's saying the one game that's.
But the Walking Dead spawned it.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, because it was the first one.
That makes sense.
Some of their games are in my top 10, like Wolf Among Us and Borderlands. That's in my top 10. I will say that.
Okay.
I still remember when the chat told me to play the Wolf Among Us, and I had no interest in it at first. But man,
TBH, if you haven't played Wolf Among Us, you need to live stream that.
That shit got pigs and rabbits in it, bro.
No, trust me, dog. I promise you.
Bro, you play Batman, dog. You gotta play Wolf Among Us.
Wolf Among Us is fire. It's probably one of their best, if not best.
I started reading the comics because of that game.
Yeah, me too. It's really good. Like the
Yeah,
it was adapted from a comic book.
It's a DC comic book, but
it's basically like take the fairy tales but make it like more mature and adult.
And it's gritty.
It's really good.
It's so gritty. Yeah, it's hella good.
Okay. I'll wrestle the pig. Okay. Yeah. I'll shoot the rabbit. I'll look into it. My last one that I had on the list, this one's kind of like what JG was saying. It's cross-generational, but it just makes the list because it came out in 2014, came out on the Wii U first, then the Switch. I gotta go with Bayonetta 2. Like something just keeps me coming back to this game. It is hands down the greatest action, like beat 'em up game. I'm sorry, Bayonetta 2 is better than all the Devil May Cries. It's better than any other fucking action game. And also it was wild. You said what?
Better than DMC5?
Yep, I still like Bayonetta 2 better than DMC5.
I still have it on Switch. I just haven't got.
Oh, you haven't played it?
I played I think I played like almost like half of Bayonetta 1. I think it's fantastic. I think Bayonetta from what I played, was really fun. I haven't had the craving to like sit down and finish it. I just have to get in that zone where I want to play it and then just sit down.
I'll say this. So when I was constructing my list, I had to come up with like a list of like 20 games going through all the different years. But I'll say this much. When it came to those 5 slots, 2 slots that I knew instantly were not going to move was Bayonetta 2, number 1, and then Titanfall 2. I knew without a doubt I was giving it up to those 2. I had to figure out the other 3. And Bayonetta 2 is like, it's just something about that game that keeps me coming back to it. The action was really smooth. It was technically optimized for the Wii U. It ran at 60 for the most part. It had some of the best set pieces that I've seen in any video game. The action scenes keep engaged. Like this game was just, if you just want a game that's just flat out fun that makes you feel like a god. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, to this day, I don't know what the fuck the story is about. I couldn't tell you. I don't know what that game's about. but if you want a game that just makes you feel like a badass, fuck that gender shit, man or woman, Bayonetta is the baddest bitch in the game. And the shit's hot. It's hot. It's like fucking Devil May Cry, but with a hot chick and better. Like it's just the skill tree. Also, it takes skill. That surprised me. It takes a lot of skill to play this game. There's a lot of combos in the game, so you can't just go into it button mashing. Maybe like the first couple of levels. There's always an amazing boss fight at the end of like every level that challenges different like skill sets as well as different like weapons. Honestly, the reason I would say this is better than Devil May Cry 5 is because I never had camera issues with Bayonetta 2. Like it's a better, in my opinion, it surpassed and Devil May Cry, and I can't wait for Bayonetta 3. It's one of the, y'all know I don't play games on hard. It's one of the few games I went back and played on hard.
It's looking like a Cyberpunk 2.
Yeah. pretty much. Yeah, it's like we don't know when it's gonna come out. That's one of the few games I'm really looking forward to. Like I said, I don't give a fuck about beating games on hard, but like I was like, yo, I want to go back and like really master and play this. Like that shit was really in depth. I love that game. So that would be probably one of my favorite games of the generation. That might be number 1, to be honest. Did I forget anybody?
Yeah, me.
Go ahead, Ethos.
All right, so I mean, I've talked about this game multiple times, and I stand by it. I kind of was like UTBH, like this game, like immediately came to like the front of my head, like my brain, like immediately when I thought about top 5. And it's just like it's one of those games like this is the one I also said like it will be side by side by Titanfall that like now people underappreciate it, but I think later down people are going to really understand that this game was actually like hella slept on, and that's Nier Automata. This game was like. This game, honestly, like almost like it literally, I would argue it changed my life like a lot.
All right, this guy.
no, I'm dead serious. I'm not even joking. Like the themes of this game are some of the best. It's some of the best written like thing I've ever seen for a video game. Like it's really good, and it hits you it goes past like your brain, it goes past your heart, it hits your soul. Like it's one of these games that connects with your soul. And like I've stressed this a lot of times that like a lot of people just see the gameplay, they see the memes of like 2B, you know, in her butt and all that stuff, and like I get that, like that's the surface level stuff, but I promise like any person, like if you give this game a chance and you get all the way and you get to ending E, like anybody who's played this game has got to ending E, they all say the same thing, like that ending is one of the best endings I've ever seen for a video game because it surpasses what a video game is, and it will like it made me cry. Like I literally teared up when I got to that ending. So, and I've said this before, like there's only 3 games on record that's ever made me cry. It was this game, Mass Effect 3, and like Walking Dead Season 1. Those are the only games that ever like hit me that emotionally. And I stand by like this game.
Cried during Mass Effect?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Was it because it was so bad?
How depressing it was. Everything you love and care about gets like just killed and destroyed like throughout the entire game. Like it's hella sad. Like Morden. See, I don't want to spoil because people might be listening to this and they haven't got
spoil. That game's like 10 years old.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil. You're still heathens out there that still haven't played Mass Effect. Which still blows my mind.
You are a heathen if you've never played the game.
You haven't played through the entire.
You're cultured.
Yeah, but like I still stand by like this is a game that like I'll ride and die for that. I would say for any person, it's kind of like it's made by Platinum Games, so the same people who made Bayonetta. I wouldn't say it's as depth as like DMC or as a Bayonetta, but like it has the action mechanics that like you can like. It's very similar to Bayonetta. The action's fire. The world's kind of but like it's a very narrative game. The narrative, the story, the characters, it's some top tier shit. And also that it's weird. It's weird in a good way. It's different than what I expected it to be, and it just has a lot of weird shit in it that like it makes it different than like anything that I've played. So I got to give it its flowers. Like. Also, y'all know for the people, yeah.
It's also
for y'all that played
a lot of hot cosplays too.
Yeah, there's a lot of hot cosplays about it.
Great for the culture.
A lot of the 2A and 2B cosplays. Shout outs to all y'all. But like, if there's one thing I could ever take anyone on this podcast, and I'm telling you this, and I really believe it is. Give Nier Automata a shot. I promise you it will be like no matter where you are in the game, like please like try to get to ending E. And I promise you like you'll leave that will change. It will change your life in some way or form. Like you'll feel something crazy when you get to the end of it. And for the record, like I can't tell you like after I've said it a couple times during the podcast. And like I've had multiple people tweet me, people in the comments said it. They heard me talk about this game and how much I've praised it, and they didn't know what the hell I was talking about, but they gave the game a shot and they said like, bruh. Like it's fucking insane. So I stress it again. I feel like this is a game every gamer should at least give a shot.
I uninstalled that shit.
So, I feel like you should give it another shot. If you have to use unlimited Google to get past, like, to figure out where you're gonna go, that's perfect.
The map was just so bad. We can't slide past that.
I'll never like say that's not a fair criticism. That's 100% a fair criticism. Like the map, and perfectly fine for somebody to like use a Google or a walkthrough to help them like figure out where they need to go.
I shouldn't have to Google where the fucking go.
It's totally understandable. Like that, I do agree is like the biggest criticism of the game. But if you can just get past that, I promise you, like it's worth the reward. 100% is worth the reward. So yeah,
maybe one day I'll find the patience to read. Because I did enjoy the combat. Like I love
combat is really fun. Yeah,
it's just that map system was honestly probably one of the worst of the generation. But yeah, I think everybody ran through their 5, correct?
Yep.
Any honorable mentions before we switch it up to the news?
Yeah, now we're talking honorable. Let me tell you 3 of them off my dome, bro. Off the dome immediately. I thought of these right off the bat. Battlefront 2. Okay. Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, and Dishonored 2. These are 3 that I feel like, damn.
Wait,
like,
did you just say that Star Wars game? Explain yourself.
Yes. Okay. It came out, it was horrible. It's just like the Siege effect. It came out horrible, right? The things they've done for this game since launch have been phenomenal. They added in so many heroes that people wanted. Granted, they didn't get Ahsoka, but whatever, that's fine. They didn't have the time. But the way they overhauled this game and made it turn from like a trash game to actually really good, I gotta give it flowers. Like when it got to a really good point, I'm not even joking. Like me and JoJo would play this game like almost every other day. We would be on this game playing the heroes versus villains. In the end of its life, it finally became like a fair successor to the original Battlefront 2, and I stand by that. Like a lot of people who just gave up on this game after, and listen to all the the hate for the game. I get it when it first came out, but after they overhauled the game 2 years, 3 years later, the game became really, really good. And I think if a lot of people went back, it's kind of like Titanfall 2. A lot of people who went back to the game after those changes realized like, whoa, this game's actually really good now. So I think it's a contender in the top 15 or top 10 of this generation. Like it was actually really good after it got fixed.
Yeah, I'll back him on that. Like it actually, better yet, it actually brings Battlefield 3 Rush in a sense.
Into it.
Yeah, I will say
like
that.
Where it succeeds in places where Battlefield failed. Like, and it's ridiculous that that's the case, but it's really good. So I like it. I like it a lot.
What were your other two?
Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. I mean, that's like the soundtrack, the combat, just the swagger that entire game has is like insane. The boss fights are phenomenal. I can't even get over how good the soundtrack is for that game. And then Dishonored 2. Slept on as hell series, one of my favorite like emergent games, just like like Deus Ex. 2 was just good because the level design of that game was just insane. You get 2 different characters. Story was fire. DLC was pretty good too for it. Like just overall, like everything about Dishonored 2 was really, really good. The only thing I remember that I didn't like was it was a little unoptimized when it came out, but after those patches that fixed it, like that level design, I still can't get over the level design for that game. It was just top tier. Shout out to Arcane. They're one of the most slept on studios ever. They make like really good games and people just sleep on their stuff. So.
What about you, GB?
Mafia 3. Better yet, I will add Star Wars Battlefront on my list too. And I think the last game would have to be Rocket League. Yeah.
Okay, that's an interesting one. Wait, why you pick that one?
Rocket League, I still play it to this day. My friends like put me onto it when like the year after it came out, but even now like we'll all hop on like the weekend, like you know what I mean, like this weekend like we'll probably play like constant rounds of like Rocket League, and then of course we have enough of us where it's like 3v3s or 2v2s, so no matter what, like it's still live too. Matter of fact, it's about to become free to play, so I believe like a lot more people are about to hop on when it comes down to it. They're about to make a huge update for it. Yeah.
No, that's fair, because I actually remember when that game first came out in 2015. People forget it did have a moment for like the span of like a good 3 months. Like everybody was playing that shit on Twitch, and everybody on everybody's friends list was playing it because it was free during PS Plus or whatever. So I do remember that shit being really hot. I remember us being on that a lot. That's a fair one. What you got for me, Jay?
Well, Ethos already took one with Dishonored 2. I'm gonna throw Smite on there because I'm not gonna. No, I don't care. Ethos. You were trash. You were trash with that character, bro.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's very rare that I can say you were trash in the game, but you were trash in that game, dog. You were a liability, and you used to get really mad at that shit.
Yeah, this man would get wrecked, bro.
Fuck that game. Fuck that shitty ass MOBA, bro. Fuck that.
You were a goddamn liar, bro. When that game came out, we were on that like
ego
crack.
And he's not good at the game.
Exactly. Yeah. He was definitely not a $5 tier, Smite.
Smite, bro. I still have PTSD playing Nox, bro. Fuck that game, bro.
Yes, bro. Nox was the character. Oh my god, you got murked, bro. It was sad.
Smite again, bro.
That was so sad. Okay, well, Ethos obviously has some demons still that he has to address.
But look, therapy after that shit.
But look, for a third-person MOBA, man, like Hi-Rez did an amazing job. I don't know how the hell we stumbled across that. Ended up playing it like every day, nonstop. But we had a moment, dog. I definitely had a moment playing it, and I can't deny, man. Like it definitely got me more into like wanting to try MOBAs because I still don't like top-down MOBAs, but I'm more prone to playing them now after like getting into Smite. And of course, Paragon, which we ended up getting into right after that. Which is
called predecessor.
Yeah, but predecessor now. Yeah, predecessor now. But Smite did good, and then you know what, all the gods, and then like they're branching out now and doing collabs with other companies. So like Smite is still going strong. Like if it wasn't too like far into it and it wasn't like so many other games that I'm interested in, I might play Smite again. But like I said, we were waiting on Paragon because Paragon ended up taking over. So we'll see what predecessor does now.
True. I actually got a whole bunch of games. I'm just gonna kind of briefly go through them. I'm actually surprised nobody brought this up, but I'm gonna put on my honorable mentions the Shadow of War franchise, Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. That Nemesis system was one of the most innovative things we've seen this generation.
Yeah, he talks about that all the time. He just mentioned it for he wish that Ghost had it.
That's why I was surprised nobody even put that on their honorable mentions. So I got to put Shadow of Mordor on there. Deus Ex: Mankind Divided, Horizon Zero Dawn, Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey. When you got the New Dunk City, that shit was fire. Dragon Ball Fighters, I got to put that on there. Even though I'm not the biggest fighting game fan, like it's rare we get a good anime game. Yeah, so we got, and it's still, I think, I don't know, because I'm not that tuned in. Correct me if I'm wrong, JG, but that still is the most popular fighting game, right? In the FGC?
No, it's still Street Fighter.
Well, that's a given. It
will forever be Street Fighter, but it's like top 3. It's definitely top 5.
I didn't expect it to be that popular in the FGC, I guess.
It definitely came out the gate swinging, but that was mainly because Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was so trash. Because that game like not only replaced it, but it surpassed it, because it was not only the same type of mechanics as Marvel vs. Capcom, but it was freaking DBZ, and everybody knows about DBZ, so it flew off.
It's rare we get a good anime game, so I think we should give Ark their flowers, because most of them are just arena brawlers and they're trash. Luigi's Mansion 3, that game it sounds goofy as hell, but that game was just really charming and silly, and I like stupid shit like that. Doom Eternal turned me into a Doom fan, and then I gotta put the Final Fantasy VII remake on there too as an honorable mention. Those are some of that I would put on there. That's all I got.
I'd add Jedi Fallen Order too as an honorable.
Yeah, we can put that on there. Yeah,
I really liked. I really.
Oh, you know what? I completely forgot. Yeah, can I also add Dying Light too? Dying Light.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I forgot. Dying Light is an underrated game, and like people, when they announced Dying Light 2, like people were like, "Oh shit, okay, yeah, let's bring it back."
I'd say one of the interesting things about this entire thing, and I kind of thought about it when I was making my like top 10 games of the decade video, like that little music video. I kind of realized it when I was editing it, and I was like, it's kind of interesting because I feel like the gen before this, like the 360 and all that stuff, and like not even that, like a lot of the older gens, I feel like they started off really fire, but I feel like this gen was interesting enough. A lot of the fire games that came out of this gen happened in the later part of its life. Like I'd say in the beginning, it was kind of lackluster as hell. But then it was weak as hell. But then I think about it, like a lot of my top favorite games actually ended up happening in the last like 4 years of like its life cycle. So I think that was like pretty interesting that like a lot of the best games came out like in very recent memory, that they're actually still on this list. Because you think like a game that just came out wouldn't hit that, but a lot of them did. So I think that's actually really, really cool.
I think everybody's capable of like recognizing greatness. Like just because it's new doesn't mean it's not great. Like, I don't think classic gets thrown around as much in the gaming community compared to the music community.
What do you think? Will be a classic? Like, what do you think like people will be talking about? Like when we hit the next gen?
This generation,
I don't care how people think about it. This would become retro from a technical definition. It will become retro once we move to the next one. What do you think like will be pushed as like retro classics?
Oof,
like if you could name like one game.
So
or
Bayonetta 2 and Assassin's Creed Odyssey are like my personals. But like if we're talking about like general populace, I think Titanfall 2, God of War, and Rainbow Six Siege will be considered classics.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
What about you, JG?
I would agree. I'm trying to think of like another one that I'd be like, I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough one because classic, like I reserve that for like the highest of tier. So like something that you would like want to come back to.
Oh
yeah, about that.
I'm disappointed. Nobody put that on their best games of this generation. The Last of Us 2.
You know what? Huh? What?
Don't put Last of Us 2.
Revenge is bad, though. Revenge is bad.
They gonna get you.
They gonna come after you now.
I don't have the mental capacity.
I want to say for the record,
true meaning of the Last of Us 2.
This is not me talking. This is not my opinion. Please.
I just apologize. I just acknowledge that I don't have the mental capacity or the IQ to truly understand the depths and the meaning, the message Naughty Dog was trying to convey about revenge and violence.
Forgiveness, good.
Forgiveness, yeah. Truly an epic tale.
Truly way in depth and over our heads. Yeah, whatever. I would say, if I think about it, like, I think Witcher 3 is going to be a classic. I'd argue now, like, people are already making that argument.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if people forget about Witcher. Right? People still talk about that shit, so I think that might end up being a classic. And oh man, I hope Titanfall 2 becomes it. I just pray people never forget about Titanfall 2.
The reason I would instantly throw Titanfall 2 in the classic realm is because of the thing we just argued earlier. What other game do you know got clapped when it came out and it's kind of lingered around and it came back and it has peaks? Like, I swear to God, at least 2 times a year, there's like, yo, Titanfall got like 20,000 people on the game right now. Yeah, like it just peaks it's like a stock or a share in a company or whatever. And it just spiked. Like, that's a very unique tale. And I think that goes to show the quality of the game. And I would give classic to Titanfall 2.
Titanfall 2 is like Modern Warfare 2 in my mind. Like 10 years down the road, if they like remaster, if they did like a remaster for
I'm buying it.
2, like they did for Modern Warfare 2, I'd cop. That's a day one.
Big fact.
What's going on, y'all? It's UTXJG, the Don, 1/3 of the Gaming Illuminati podcast. And there hasn't been a whole lot to smile about these days, but things are getting better. We got sporting events. NBA just started. We got MLS that's right next to them. We got the MLB, and we got the NHL are started back up. And it's some good summer weather. So those are things that you can't help but smile about, right? But do you want a megawatt smile to show off? No. My friends over at Candy can help you. Candy clear aligners are comfortable, removable, and totally invisible, unlike wire braces, so you can transform your smile without anyone noticing. Plus, your treatment is prescribed and monitored remotely by a licensed orthodontist who's an expert at tooth movement. Candy only works with orthodontists, never general dentists like other companies. And with some of the other companies, you may never hear from a doctor as you go through your treatment. That's ridiculous. With Candy, your treatment includes remote monitoring by the same orthodontist that created your plan, so you never have to wonder how you're doing. You're always going to know, and I love that personally. The average Candy treatment is just 6 months, so you start seeing results way before then and cost an average 50% less than Invisalign. So, are you ready to take your first step towards getting your dream smile that you can't wait to show off? Get started today from the comfort of your own home with Candid's risk-free starter kit and $75 off. Go to candidco.com/GI and use code GI. That's candidco.com/GI, code GI for your risk-free starter kit and $75 off. candidco.com/GI, code GI.
That's interesting. If anybody doesn't have any more classics, we can move on to the news.
Sure.
Okay. Moving on to the news side of the podcast. It was kind of weak this week, but I found like a few stories. Maybe we could thug it out, talk about it a little bit. The first of which being that Halo is going to be for everyone. The official Halo account tweeted out, "We can confirm that Halo Infinite multiplayer will be free to play and will support 120 frames on the Xbox Series X. More details will be shared later." As a big Halo fan, what's this doing for you, JG? Halo goes free to play.
I mean, I'm still waiting on the 120 FPS on the Xbox Series X. I want to see what that is, but I feel like this is what they need in order to get more people into it, because I don't think at this point, like, you would really have to show, like, because we were literally talking about this last week, what would it take for, a new person who's never played a Halo in their life to get into it? And making the multiplayer free to play, I think that's a good move by Microsoft to do. Because, like, I don't think that too many people would care about the story, especially if you never played a Halo in your life. So, and most of people care about multiplayer anyways. They don't even play the single player or care about it. So that's good. I actually commend them for this. I definitely commend them. So I think the more people will actually give it a try now that it's free to play. Now, will you stick with it? Only time will tell. We'll have to see how the multiplayer is like. But I have a good feeling a lot of people are going to try it now.
My initial response to this news was like, okay, this is dope. This is making me want to try it because I honestly don't really care about the story at this point. I just want to play the multiplayer. But then I sat back and I had the epiphany. I was like, does this devalue the Game Pass? Because why would I buy the Game Pass when I can get the multiplayer, the meat and potatoes of the game for free?
Yeah, so you're basically just buying. Well, yeah. Would you need it for?
I feel like as a Game Pass owner, I would be kind of annoyed with this. Like, wow, you're just gonna make this shit free? I paid $15 a month.
Well, don't you need the online though?
What do you mean?
Don't you need Xbox Live?
Xbox Live is free on PC.
No, I'm talking about.
Well, we're talking about Xbox though.
Oh, you're thinking from the mind of poverty.
Yo, relax.
Chill out, man. Chill out.
I gotta get it off, dog. I gotta get my shit off. So yeah, we're talking about the doorstop. Wait, so what do you mean? Like you have to pay the $60 a year? What does that have to do with anything?
So you have to play, like, even if it's free, right? Will it cost money to play it online? So even if it's free, it's like, don't you still need like technically Xbox Live in order to play?
No, because
online?
that Xbox Live is for everything. It's not specifically for Halo. But that Game Pass, like I would argue, there are a lot of people that are going to buy the.
I thought right now the way the Game Pass works, like Xbox Ultimate, right? Like you pay for Ultimate, and that gives you Xbox Live, and you get all the games.
Yeah,
I thought that was a bundle though. Like that's not everybody's going for that bundle.
Yeah, like, at this point, I don't even know how. I don't even know how the Xbox ecosystem even works. Like, can someone explain it? Like, because I'm very confused at this point. I don't know what will give you access and what won't.
I don't know. Just from my perspective, maybe I'm projecting, but like I'm not. If I were an Xbox Pass owner, I'm not paying for the Xbox Game Pass for Ori and the Blind Forest. Sorry, as much as I like it, I'm paying for it so I can get Halo, the new Gears, Forza BR, like they're top tier games, so I can get them for the low. That's why I would be paying for it. And I could be projecting. I don't know. I feel like this could piss off the community.
Again, I think that doesn't matter what you're saying, because you're asking from the perspective of if you're only wanting Halo, but if you're getting the Game Pass, you would fully be expecting to play multiple games, bro. So that doesn't even matter. That's
debatable because the Xbox community, let me stop.
You better, yeah, please. don't even.
What? Come on, bro. They already suffered enough, bro.
You're right. Any hot takes on this, GB?
I'll probably answer JG's question with it. When it comes down to the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, like, because I think there's two. There's the $5 one, there's the $15 one. If you have like a PC, the $15 one is where you have like Xbox Live for your PC, your Xbox, and then of course you have all the games. But when it comes down to like free-to-play games online, like Apex and Fortnite, I think you still do need Xbox Live to play those free-to-play games. So when
that's shitty.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to it being free-to-play, that's fine and all, but when it comes down to it, wouldn't this hurt them in the long run? And wouldn't people be more worried about the microtransactions that come out of this?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Actually, since we're talking about the Game Pass, I'm gonna go ahead and skip to this story because it's on topic. So it's been reported the Xbox Game Pass isn't profitable, which is interesting because we were talking about that in last week's podcast. One of the reps from Xbox, they were saying during a podcast that they were asking how does it make any money, and he was saying it's a different mindset. You can either say how do we get as much profit for each customer, or how do you pivot the opposite and say how do we add as much value to our fans? How can we actually over deliver on value? And if you do that, you build your fans for life. And if people feel like you're over delivering on value, they'll want to not only continue to use your service, but they'll want to tell their friends about it. That is actually the most powerful marketing. It's word of mouth marketing. So their goal is not even to make money, I guess, make lifelong fans. Does anybody have like a hot take ethos maybe like on that thought process? What do you think about that?
It makes sense. They're trying to use the marketing pool of just like good karma in order to get people to pull in to try it out, which I think is smart. They're already losing technically, so it's like you might as well make it where we're more consumer friendly than our competition. So I think that's a smart play. In regards of profitability, like again, like this, I don't feel like this is an argument to say that like this is a bad plan, because like you gotta think of it like a lot of companies, you basically do a lot of risk assessment and then they say, or not even risk assessment, but like it's kind of like that. But they kind of make an assessment way before crunching numbers of, okay, we take an L here, we lose money here, but where can we make it up in another place? And this is kind of like the same thing with Sony, right? Like Sony takes a loss on the actual like consoles itself, a lot of a loss. Like they lose money every time they sell a console, but they make it up because they're like, okay, well, no, they'll buy like exclusives. They're going to give us Sony, they're going to give us, what do they call it? PlayStation Plus to play online. Like this is where they can pick up those lost dollars. So what he doesn't say here is obviously the business side of it, because no company, from a logical standpoint, no company is going to agree of doing something that literally has them like losing money where they're not going to pick it up somewhere else, or where they're going to, reverse that slack for it. So, I mean, for this, it's just like, it's the same logic. It's just like what he's not telling you here is obviously like the other business of, okay, well, yeah, we're taking the L here, but yeah, we get good karma. And then on top of that, people are going to want to like, buy Xbox Live with this sort of thing. So they're going to stay in our ecosystem. And on top of that, they're going to play our games. You know what that means? If these games are live service games, that means they have microtransactions like Halo will and all the rest of them. Then people are going to be buying microtransactions. So basically, we'll filler it out either one way or another. So that's smart, in my opinion. That's right? Like you want to get them into your ecosystem first, so then they get access to like the microtransaction systems of different games. So then people will spend money in that ways, and that's how.
Now we get into it.
It's the same thing. Here, I'll make it really.
I was just about to ask. Like, no, I'm not against this. Like, go for the fucking Xbox Game Pass. This is great for consumers, but at the end of the day, this is a business, and from my business standpoint, because Xbox doesn't make them any money. So I'm like, in the long run, what does this do? Because like the Xbox can get axed by Microsoft because you see what they just did with Mixer. Who's to say that they would do that with Xbox one day? You know,
right. But they're trying to stay in a whole like an industry. Like they're not. I don't feel like unless they completely suck and they can't make any money out of it. That's the only reason why like big OG like board of directors Microsoft would show up and be like axe the gaming division. But if at least they're like making some sort of like way or they have some sort of percentage of the market, they're gonna stay there. They're not gonna leave anytime soon. So I think like overall like to ghetto-fy this is basically the same thing as like a drug dealer.
Whoa.
This is like
that's a little controversial.
This is what it is, right? It's like a drug dealer, right? Handing you basically like for cocaine, giving you like, a free sample of it, right?
And you're gonna try it.
Of it. And then you're gonna stay in the ecosystem. You're gonna come back and you're gonna be like, yeah, so it's the same thing. That's niggonomics. There you go. Like just like you're just upgrading it to different like scaling of like what
somebody's listening to this right now. Like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. We have different levels of people who listen to our podcast. I gotta, people think I'm stupid if I don't make sense from different levels. So that's basically what it is in a nutshell. Like,
so basically what you're saying is Microsoft has so much money they don't even care. Like they're just, as long as they have a percentage of the gaming community, they'll pump money into it. Yeah, Windows makes so much money they don't care.
I guarantee right now, certain people are going to use this news and try to like shit on Xbox and be like, look, they're losing money in this thing and this is stupid and da. And they don't. Those people don't even like. They've never taken a business class before. They don't understand how businesses work. Like this is all like.
I have
really
shares at Microsoft. They're up right now. They're doing fine.
If you really like if you understand how business works and you really understand like how corporations move, like. There's always a method behind the madness. For the most part, there's some people who are really stupid, like EA, who just do very questionable.
They're up 1% today. They're up 2% the past week. The last 3 months, they're up 18%.
Because they were like, oh, their stock went down because of the showcase.
It was a day. It was just jokes. But in the last 3 months, they're up 18%. In the last year, they're up 50% in terms of money. So now that everybody knows I have money in Microsoft, I'm gonna need everybody to buy an Xbox because.
Oh, you're buying? Oh, man.
No, I'm joking. I'm not going to buy that shit. Anyways. I feel conflicted about Microsoft. It's like, on one hand, I do want y'all to buy it, but at the same time, I'm not mad if y'all don't. So, yeah, that was interesting. I didn't bring that up to shit on them. It was just like some food for thought.
Well, no, it's a meme. It's a meme thing. But there are, like, while we meme it because it's funny, right? There are people who seriously do this console war shit who try to use that argument and try to say that
console wars in 2020. Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's basically any negative news against the console or the platform that they hate.
Yeah, they'll twist it into some like crazy conspiracy theory that like Microsoft is gonna fucking die in the next month or some crazy.
Right.
Microsoft is like TikTok. They're fine.
Yeah.
Speaking of TikTok, though.
They get control of TikTok.
Ban world.
Right, exactly. So
I'm telling you, if Microsoft gets U.S. operations, y'all better throw a shit ton of stock inside of Microsoft.
Yeah, but that's TBD on that one. We'll see what happens. But just to further like talk about this before we get done with it, what Ethos was pointing to last week when he said that like Microsoft is pretty much just buying into the Game Pass ecosystem. I mean, this whole thing would be totally worth the money if you just have the games to back it. Like when TBH was mentioning one game, that's just one game. But say if you have, 15 games throughout the span of a year, like I would say that's a hell of a deal than just going for the Game Pass. So again, what Ethos was talking about now, you just getting into the ecosystem and then wanting to stay. The easiest way for you to stay is if there are games for you to play. So if you just give us the game, then it'll be totally worth it.
It's like the Origin thing. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. If they somehow make it with a lot of like third-party publishers, if they're able to get all their like brand new games coming out on that Game Pass, I don't feel like there's any person in the room that would be like, hey, why the fuck am I spending $60 or $70, right, for these brand new games coming out when I could just get the Xbox Game Pass and I can get those
single player games. You're gonna beat it once and never play it again.
Well, yeah, right. Like that's the one hitters, right? Like would I, or the games that you feel comfortable about, right? Do I really want to pay $60 for this game, right? When you could just be like, oh, I'll just do a subscription service. I'll play it when I'm done. It's like, the best way I describe it is, this is the modernization of Blockbuster. This is the modernization of Netflix. This is basically the gaming industry catching up with, well, basically what happened with Blockbuster and Netflix. That's what Xbox is doing. Now, I'm not saying that like Xbox is going to kill Sony or something like off that. It's not, but I think what you're going to see with Sony, like Sony's doing with PlayStation now, Sony's starting to like do certain things in this area as well. And Nintendo's always slow, but eventually they'll get to it. What you're going to see soon is that like in this next generation, digital is going to be the wave. That's why these consoles are starting to get digital versions and all the rest of this. You're going to start moving into a model where the main things are subscription, cloud services, and getting access to your games immediately. So like being able to play your games anywhere. So like what Xbox is doing, where you can play Destiny anywhere, where you can play like all their games anywhere. These are the three core. So if you got stock, if you got money, these are the things you should be investing in, because that's where the industry is going. I'm sorry, all you old heads, all you old timers, the disc is dying. The physical is dying. GameStop is dying.
You know, it's funny. Like I've always been like the person who wanted a big collection in the background of their videos and stuff. Yeah, and like I do have a big collection, but like moving to Florida, I've come to realize like I don't care about this shit. Like I'm probably gonna sell off my collection. Like I'm leaning more towards digital. As long as they put a big hard drive in it, I don't care about the disc.
Right. Like the only thing that matters, like, and I know like I was very controversial for this like a couple of years ago, but I was like one of the people that was just like, I don't give a fuck about physical or like editions unless like it's a collector's, like unless there's like a physical value of something that I'm buying.
If you plan on hugging the block your whole life, physical's cool. But if you want to move around, I'm telling you, it was like 4 extra boxes for me to move my shit.
Right.
That wasn't.
And people make the argument, it's like, well, I want to own my games and this, and well, you have to understand, like the whole, like that doesn't exist anymore. Like that is, unfortunately, the truth is that even if you buy physical copies, regardless of what Sony told you, is that like a lot of times now, like these games are now somehow, some way tied to a digital license, to some sort of license.
PS4 disc, and you still have to download the game.
Yes, like a lot of these games are going to require you to do some form of digital, some form of internet in order for you to get the most updated, the best version of the game. Like that's just what it is now. Like that's what the world, the internet has become. So either I can't even tell you now how many times have you bought like something physical, right? Like even EA does that, right? They have collector's editions with physical copies of their game, like steelbooks and whatever it is. And like the game is like the disc doesn't even have the full game on it. You still have to download it. And Ubisoft does the same thing too for a majority of their PC games, where you're gonna have to download off the Uplay. So this physical thing, I mean, you could say I just like having physically something, but it don't matter, dog. I hate to tell you, this next gen, it's not gonna matter. So GameStop is the biggest example.
Put at least 5 terabytes in it, Sony, please, in your console.
Yeah,
no, not a 1 terabyte, and I think I'll be Gucci. Yeah. So yeah, that was just an interesting story. Here, I got one for you, Ethos. Let me know what this is doing for you. Splinter Cell animated series is announced coming to Netflix. 2 seasons have reportedly already been ordered. Like they're confident about this. So a total of 16 episodes, or probably 8 a season. There's no indication yet where the series, how it will adapt stories in some of the games, or if the Michael Ironside will be reprising the role of Sam Fisher. But we know the show is coming. What's that doing for you?
I feel like I'm part of a cruel joke that like just will never end. Not gonna lie, I'm still gonna watch it. Don't get it twisted. Like,
but I'm gonna complain. I'm kicking scream all the way.
I'm gonna complain. I'm gonna kick and scream all the way until it comes out. But I mean, I'm cool with this because like Witcher kind of proved it, right? Like the Witcher Netflix series was amazing. Granted, it wasn't like fully like the games; it was more towards like the books. But still, like if they adapt it, they do it right. And I mean, it's helmed by like John Wick's writer. I think it's gonna be fire. Like if it's like a John Wick styled like show, not like an idea that like Sam Fisher's out here like murdering everybody like on a kill spree or something like that, but it's like a more of that like a thriller with like a John Wick like aesthetic. I think it'd be pretty dope. So I'm willing to give it a shot. I'm always willing to give like this type of stuff a shot, because what I'm hoping is just like Netflix, when the Netflix show came out, the sales of Witcher shot up astronomically. So what I'm hoping is if this comes out and it's very successful and people are like, oh, this is really good, people will go out and buy the games. And if they do that, then Ubisoft won't have a damn argument saying that the games don't sell, and then they're going to make a new one. So I hope this succeeds, because then I can get my game. So we'll all be happy.
Anybody got any hot takes on the Netflix series Splinter Cell?
It kind of shocked me that it's going to be animated. because that means if they go for animation, that means they have like more freedom to do like more gritty stuff. So I'm kind of excited for that part. But the thing about it was, though, weren't there already rumors of them making an entire new Splinter Cell game? Like after what was the last Ghost Recon? Not the one with the dude from Walking Dead, but the one before that. Wasn't he in that DLC?
Yes, there was.
Yeah, I thought like they were like I remember like when that DLC came out, like there were some leaks about Sam Fisher getting his last game. You know what I mean? But I guess him getting an animated series.
Rumors, yeah, what they are.
I know. So him getting an animated series is fine. I mean, that means like if it's animated, that means they can be gritty as they possibly want to. And I'll be excited for that. But it kind of sucks because I'm a fan of Sam Fisher. So it's like, come on, you can just give us a game. It's not that big of a deal. Instead of that mobile game that they dropped, like that's an embarrassment. Come on, yo. That's a slap in the face.
Wants to play stealth with microtransactions. What the fuck is that shit?
Yeah.
That shit is dumb. So, all I can say is I'll watch it. It's a disappointment to see this. It's weird to me that Ubisoft can recognize that like we'll watch an animated series, but you don't think we'll buy the game that the animated series is based off of. As like I agree, like this is a cruel joke, like, but maybe Ubisoft is just trying to find new ways to make money. Who knows? I don't know. Somebody give me their Netflix password.
Somebody's on. Give me their.
yeah. Who's on to you? Next piece of news. I thought this one was actually really interesting because a lot of people were worried about every game being 70 next gen or like cross gen or whatever. And Star Wars Squadron is reportedly only going to be $40. When asked, they said, "We're always looking at games and we want to make sure we're providing the greatest value to our players. And games all have a different scale, and most of our games right now have a huge scale. We designed Squadrons to really focus on what we heard from consumers, which is one of their greatest fantasies is to fly an X-Wing and TIE Fighter, blah, blah, blah." Basically, this game is not going to be as big as their other ones. It's going to focus just on dogfighting. It's not going to be some big-ass open world. That's basically what he was getting at. So they priced the game at $40. I found this news interesting because one of my first complaints when I seen the gameplay is I was like, this looks like they took the dogfighting mode out of Star Wars Battlefront 2 and just added like some cutscenes to it. And then the fact that it's only $40 and they're saying it's smaller in scale, it kind of reinforces what I thought about this game. But I don't know. Are y'all looking forward to this? You got any hot takes on this? Take that as
Nah, I don't really have much to say. I'm a Star Wars fan, but if it's just Squadrons, I don't think it needs to be $40, especially like with the other games competition. Like people will buy this and they just want to go back to Battlefront because they fixed Battlefront's dogfights.
But nobody plays that shit.
Actually, but I know when it first dropped, it was terrible and it was barely playable on mouse and keyboard. Now it's actually doable.
Is that why they're doing this? Nobody played it in Star Wars Battlefront 2, so they're like, we're just gonna repackage it with some cutscenes and maybe they'll play it as
what I will say is it might have a place in the VR space because that VR feature is actually pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't have a VR set, but I feel like the people who are VR enthusiasts, they'll all like hop on this game because I feel like that's like you can live your fantasy. You'll be in a VR suit. Like that's our VR helmet. Pretty cool.
Where y'all think VR is going next gen? I don't think we've had that conversation before. You think there'll be more support on Xbox and PlayStation?
I think it's gonna get really good.
PlayStation, yes. Xbox, no.
Yeah, Xbox, no. But I think the PC and the PlayStation one might go somewhere because you have stronger hardware now. Mm-hmm. So that means like, I'll give you a big example of this. Like a lot of people said VR was dead, but I think Half-Life Alexa proved that wrong. Half-Life Alexa came out and like people were going in droves trying to pick up that index to play it. And people, I'd argue too, like Alexa actually is in the argument for Game of the Year this year. Like I've heard not one bad thing about that game. Like everybody who's actually played, it's just a small market, but everyone who's played it has told me like it is phenomenal.
But do you think that's because of Half-Life fans, or do you think it's because of the VR people? Because I think I would.
I watch reviews. The general consensus was it was just a good game.
Yeah, I'm not saying it was bad, but I think it was just because of the hype of Half-Life. Because people have been, of course, like they can't count to 3, so people have been waiting on another Half-Life since forever.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but like this one was like the review from. I watched like several reviews of this because like I'm very tempted to get Index to play this game because I really want to play it, but because like I'm a Half-Life fan, right? But like this game isn't like a direct sequel of it. I think it's like somewhere after 2.
It's not. Yeah, we know that. But again,
like
just
a spin-off thing, right?
Yeah, just because it's Half-Life period. I think that's why just a lot of people were just super excited.
Yeah, but I think it's more of when I like. There's a lot of reviewers who were like, I had never played Half-Life, or I barely like. Everyone knows what Half-Life is, but I'm not like that crazy about Half-Life. But from what I saw review-wise, I think TBH will agree, is that a lot of them said like this from like a VR gameplay standpoint was like this was a huge jump in quality. Like this wasn't I stay in place and I shoot a bunch of like zombies coming at me. So like this was like an actual AAA campaign experience.
It felt like a labor of love, they were saying.
Yeah, and it works. And this is like a sign that like a lot of people argue and say VR games are just like the same type of game, right? Like you stay in place, or they haven't solved a lot of the movement stuff. Like apparently like Alexa solves a lot of issues that VR has and then innovates it and goes further. So like if that's like basically it's like pushing to the next gen, and like I mean Valve, of course, like maybe that's why Valve has been like very silent, is like they see VR as that next jump and they can push that next jump. Then I could see VR becoming like back in a big way this upcoming, because I've seen this a couple times where a couple of VR games have come out in the past 2 years and people have said like they've been really good. Like there was a zombie one, I think Mav was playing it one time, and one of my coworkers was playing it and they were praising this game. Like it was like called like Saints or something, I can't remember, but they were saying like it was really good. Like you felt like you were actually there. It's very tense. There's a lot of like interaction with it. So I think like as the technology gets better, as the hardware can support it gets better, then like developers can make these way more intrinsic, way more in-depth like games. Like I'm surprised they haven't made a God of War VR game, to be honest with you. I'm really surprised they haven't done that.
Giving them ideas.
Yeah, like I saw if you YouTube it, there was an indie developer, he made a God of War VR like prototype where basically it was with the axe.
Why is there no Fight Night VR?
I mean, there's a lot of things, right? Like why
you tried to make a boxing game that was VR that me and Flock played.
Creed was a really good. Yeah, people said Creed was really solid as a boxing game. So I mean, like, there's a lot of room, and I feel like there's a lot of games that will soon come out first person that like you could have VR to. Like, imagine Cyberpunk and an update, they give you VR support. Like, if that happens, like that would be a big push.
I would say I don't think VR is dead. I think the better word is it plateaued. Like it has its niche. It definitely has a niche, but like it's not growing either.
It had its hype,
it
but
needs more Alex's, I think, or whatever.
Yeah, and then like you mentioned, the barrier of entry is too high. Like those, they were expensive, and then when you pay for it, you didn't get the games that were worth the price.
Right, like the $1,000 barrier to get like one of the best ones, like the better ones. And on top of that, like that was kind of smart that they just threw Alexa with it. It was like, hey, yeah, if you buy this thing, like Alexa's free. You don't even have to pay for it. So it kind of like gets you into the ecosystem. Like I talked to like one of my friends, like Zach, and like he's a big VR enthusiast, and he kind of says the same thing. It's like if they could just find a way to lower the barrier of entry to like what the consoles are, and they incentivize it with like the games, Game Pass, you could possibly get it where you could get a community of people to like actually like give VR a shot. And I think like Squadrons is a good example of that. They just need high tier games that are first person or big name brands making these VR games.
I would argue that that high barrier to entry too also affects from a development standpoint. Because if I'm a developer from the business side, I'm looking at it as, well, if only a small number of people have a headset, why would I waste my time building this game and wasting money when I can only sell it to a few thousand versus a few million, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's the big thing. It's like, you gotta, like, what they need to do is like, we need to step away from the idea that we need to make exclusive VR games, and we need to readjust it to, let's look at a lot of the games that exist now that are first person. Which of these games can we add a VR functionality mode onto it? Kind of like how the this is a horrible example, but like the Kinect, God bless its soul, kind of like, let's move away from like the whole thing where it's like it has to be exclusive to this in order for you to play the game, and instead let's make it where this functionality is available to you if you own this. Because then what you're going to have is people who buy the game just because you'll have developers who are like, oh, well, if you don't have a VR set, you can still play my game. So, you'll still get that audience. And then the people who already have VR headsets, that's now another incentive for them to want to buy your game, because now they can use their headsets. So now you're bringing a whole new community that wants to buy your game. And then on top of that, then the people who just buy the base game will be like, oh, I didn't know there was a VR like version, like set of this. Like, what does this look like? They Google it, they check it out. Like, hey, I really love this game. Maybe I would love to play it again in VR. Then they might, be pushed into buying a VR headset. So it's like it works. They all work together to like push both products. So
basically, they just need to rethink how they're selling. How to basically get it to more households.
Exactly. Yeah. They just got to readjust it. They got to stop this mindset where we need to make they need to stop the PlayStation idea that we need to make these exclusive VR games. Like we need to make an Iron Man VR. We need to make a Batman VR. We need to, or it's just the whole selling point is it's a VR game only. They need to look at it and said, let's look at all of our our big games that we're working on right now. Which of these games do we feel like would work good with VR? And can we add that functionality to the game currently? That's what I feel like they need to adjust to. If they do that, I feel like VR, kind of what you said, TBH, I feel like it'll break that plateau it's at right now. And it can people will then be like, hey, I'll give it a shot. I'll give PlayStation VR a shot. Because I'd say PlayStation VR's barrier of entry is way more forgiving than like what you had. The Vive, was it? The Vive.
HTC Vive, yeah.
Yeah, the Index. Like those are more like enthusiast stuff. But I think the Vive the PlayStation VR, someone can look at it. What is it, like 200, 250, 400?
I was just about to say, I think if VR is going to go mainstream, it's going to be from the PS5. With that extra hardware power under the PS5, and then it's cheaper to get a headset from console. I think consoles actually would help it go mainstream.
Yeah, it's like $349.
Because PC, you need like a good $2,000 PC plus the $800 headset. Like I think console would probably be more realistic.
But I'd argue at that point for PC, it's like if you already have a $2,000 PC, you buying a VR headset is not going to be, you get what I mean? Like that's not going to be far-fetched for you. Because it's like,
that's debatable.
Maybe.
Niggas who wear Jordans and ride the bus. That's debatable.
Well, yeah, but like if you're an enthusiast, right? Like let's be honest, like you buying a $2,000 PC like us, like you're an enthusiast. You're not some lightweight, right? You're not like some like light kid. Like I'm just going to buy a gaming PC. Like in my opinion, if you spend if you're close to $2,000 or more spending it on a gaming PC, in my mind, you're an enthusiast, like through and through. Like you're spending top tier buck for like a top tier computer. Yeah, like compared to like a guy who's like, I'm just gonna buy this $800 gaming PC, or or something that I can just get into gaming PC. Like we're on whole. I guess it's like that whole thing we talked about yesterday, right? Like we have to remove ourselves from our like what we see, because like we're all like enthusiasts. I would argue, like everybody in GI for the most part, except for Chaos, because he's struggling. But like we're all like enthusiast level of like our like gaming rigs and like everything else, and like the scale of that compared to like a regular consumer, like someone who's in GI Discord who's like, hey, I want to get into gaming PC, can you guys give me like a budget of like 1,000? Like I wouldn't say like those people are but like enthusiasts. They're like, I'm like trying to dip my toes into the gaming PC. They're not going to be the ones that VR, like they're not going to be the ones that are going to go out and get a Vive. But like you, TBH, like you're the case in point of that, right? Like you went out and bought a Vive, like just like what? I'm just gonna get this, right? Like you could do that because you're an enthusiast, right? Like I could do that because I'm an enthusiast. Like me thinking about, I just want to buy an Index.
Just call him poor, Ethos. Jesus.
Pretty much. That's pretty much what you want to say. He's being nice about it today. He's being nice about it.
That's reserved for the live stream because that's
a curved monitor.
That's a safe space and everyone understands that it's jokes. But certain people listen to this and they don't understand it and they think we're talking like, we're gonna get tweeted. This you calling people poor. So
just remember, when we're talking about $2,000 PCs, if it upsets you that you can't afford it, and we're having these conversations, you need to ask yourself,
it's a luxury
why
item.
Are you not upset that you can't afford it? That's the bigger question. It's a luxury
item. Like having a gaming PC is a luxury item, right? Like having a PlayStation 4 is like a luxury item. It's not like a necessity. It's not something that you have to have. Like this is what we were talking about last time, right? TBH, the whole idea that like if you're complaining about a game going to $70, like
gaming is not a poor man's hobby. Like, sorry.
Gaming is not for the poor. Like, I'm sorry, it's just not. So if you're complaining about a $10 increase of games, like the game price, it's like, I hate to tell you, bro, like it might be broke.
But that whole argument kind of goes back to what I said. It's plenty of niggas riding the bus that wear Jordans. There are plenty of niggas that have a PS4 that costs $400 and they had to scrape, and they shouldn't even own the PS4. They need to get their life together, but they scrape their money to get priorities is fucked up. That's a whole different conversation. So it's like, it's hard to tell on that.
That is true.
But before y'all kill them in the comment section, it's Half-Life Alex. You kept saying Alexa. I was like, what the hell is that?
Did I say Alexa? Did I really? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yes, it's all sorry, good.
Look, I barely had sleep. I woke up and immediately got on to get to this podcast.
But yes, this game does look amazing. So I would have to agree with
Alex?
you all. Yeah, Alex it looks really dope. Like for a VR game, like it looks like a totally different experience.
I'm not gonna lie, I watched the reviews and I contemplated plugging my Vive in.
Yeah, I dead ass, like when I watched a review, I watched 3 reviews of this game because I I didn't even know it was coming out. It came out of like nowhere, and like I just saw like 3 different people talking about, oh my god, this game might be a 10 out of 10. And I was like, what? And then I like went through because I thought it was gonna be some simple game, like some tech demo. And people were like, yo, like this game looks insane. Like it's really good. It runs great. It has a good story. The gameplay is actually really fire. Like it's really dynamic. Like you can grab like pieces of equipment. You can chuck them at people and all that stuff. It's like really like in depth. I'm immediately like, I actually went to the Google Index and I was like, how much does this index cost? Like I actually thought about buying it. So I mean, yeah.
Just for one game, that's crazy. Yeah, it must mean that you thought it looked really good.
Well, from what I watched, Danny O'Dwyer, I watched like
Wait, you keep saying an index. What is that? A headset?
It's
the Valve's head VR.
It's a whole new VR.
I didn't even know this.
Just go to Steam, open your Steam, search Index.
Oh,
so
that's why I don't be on Steam like that no more.
Yeah, exactly. We don't be playing Steam games like that anymore. But
thing and like
okay,
apparently
I'm looking at it.
It's the best VR headset. People argue. Like
I didn't know this was a thing. That's crazy.
Yeah,
they were quiet about
it. It's sold out like multiple times.
The barrier to entry is a little bit lower. It's only 500 for this one.
Yeah, but you need the other things. You know.
Well,
that's just the headset.
If you're looking at a Valve Index headset, like you said, you probably already have a PC.
Exactly. Technically it's $750 because you need that. You need the controllers.
That's like a broke nigga going to the fucking Bentley lot. Like, bro, what are you doing here?
Yeah, what are you doing? Yeah, exactly.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like it just looks so fluid. Like I'm looking at like some longer gameplay. Yeah, like it does look amazing. It's not. It doesn't look cheesy.
They said 8 weeks until the next year.
Yeah, you ain't getting that joint. It's gonna be a while.
That's how good that hardware is. That like just to prove the point that like I don't think it's plateaued. I don't think the interest is gone. Like this is on back order. People really want this thing. So I don't even think
it might be a slow drip. Then it's a slow drip.
Yeah, I just think it's just what we need is right now, and I feel like that's it. When next gen comes out, when we're in this next gen phase, like I think Valve is smart. Like they pushed this right at the end. This came out this year. I'd argue it could definitely be a Game of the Year contender. I think a lot of people it's just the market of people who've played it is so small, so it's hard for the greater gaming community to talk about it because the barrier of entry is very small. Only a select few like rich people, quote unquote, have been able to experience the game. So it's going to be hard for people to make that argument of like, oh, it's Game of the Year. So. But
we went on a whole different tangent. Just bar words, but go ahead, GB, my bad.
I think it's kind of crazy too when it comes down to it because you think that because Xbox is saying the most powerful console, you think they would have hopped on the VR wave because after the Wii came out, they were the first person to hop on that Kinect wave. They saw that flop, but you think they would pick back up with VR. But PlayStation was just like, you know what, we'll take up that, and Xbox is still like on the back burner. They're like, no. But Alex came out of nowhere, and you can see how many people literally went out of their way to go straight to Steam, spend like
buy a VR headset,
spend like a headset and like a snap. So clearly, you can make hardware seller games. You just have to take that risk.
You got to have that killer app, and I mean, if there's one person who would be like, "Yo, we can do it," it's Valve. Like, they're the ones who do it. And what does it take? The Half-Life name. Just put that there. Actually make a really good game, and people like kind of the point. People will flock to the hardware. People will buy the hardware.
If Half-Life 3 was VR, I think people would buy it.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with JG on that point. Yeah, if they said Half-Life 3 index, let me tell you, boy, my bank account gonna take it.
It's not even a question. I might even run out.
Yeah, I'd run out and go get one.
That's crazy. When did this index come out? I never heard of this shit.
It came out the same time that Atlas came out.
Yeah, Atlas.
Okay, so that's why it's new.
Valve literally like their marketing was. It was
they have a kit for it too. You can get the game
it was
for
a whole kit.
with it. Okay.
The thing is, they made it smart and they made it simple of like what you need to buy to play it. They weren't like all this complicated extras. Oh, these 3 different versions of their.
Sell my Vive.
Yeah, look, I would say, yeah, like everyone, like me and my roommate, we were talking about this. Like he sold his Vive and he was like, yo, I'm really gonna get this index because people saw the gameplay of Alex and was like, yo, this looks really good. The reviews came out, people were giving it 9s, 10s. Like I think if you check Metacritic, like
so you say your roommate has an index?
He doesn't because it's on back order. But he's like the moment it comes out back order, he was like, yo, like.
Definitely ask him when he gets it. Does he get like motion sickness from it? Does he feel like it's better than the Vive?
Well, that's the thing. Like a lot of people that I've like seen talk about this index. Like just go on YouTube, like spend an hour, just look at different people talking about the index. People say it solves like almost all the issues they had with the previous versions of VR. Which I feel like, well, yeah, I was like, oh.
I'm definitely gonna do some research on this later. I'm gonna watch some YouTube videos. That's interesting.
Yeah, and to what GB was saying, like Microsoft, I'm actually surprised too. I remember when
Alex with a 93 on Metacritic right now.
That's pretty crazy.
It has a 9.1 user score. Like this
when
is definitely it's ridiculous.
You remember when they talked about the HoloLens? Like that wasn't focused on video games though. That was focused on like more AR type of stuff, like hospitals and stuff. Yeah, so like they like went totally away from that. So I'm actually still surprised they didn't try to hop back into the video game VR spectrum.
Yeah.
Okay. It's funny. Speaking of Steam, let's talk about their competition, Epic Games. Their official Twitter recently announced that they are rolling out achievements for their game. Certain games already have achievements, and then they'll be implementing it into other games, and adjustments will be made based on feedback. And I thought this was interesting because I was like, I had the epiphany. I was like, are achievements even relevant still? Like, do y'all care about this?
To the hate community, it is.
All right, next topic, dog. Don't do this. These niggas are gonna threaten to shoot me again. Oh my god! Oh my god!
To losers, it matters, and I'm not talking about the hate community. I'm just talking about just anybody who really cares and considers that because you platinum a game that you're validated, that you got the stamp as a gamer. That's loser shit, bro. We are grown men. I cared about achievements when I was like 18 on Xbox, but it still didn't mean anything, bro. Yeah, that was a different time. Who cares about that stuff? I don't even play games on hard anymore. Like I used to, but like that was back when I cared about numbers. Like, come on now. Nobody cares about this stuff. Achievements are cool. Yeah, they pop up, sure, but it's only a certain amount of people that care, and they should be ashamed that they even care.
That's crazy.
Turn my notifications off whole time. I'm not gonna lie.
That's perfect. That's actually perfect. That's a perfect way to play.
They delay it anyway too. Like when you're playing on Xbox, like I remember it got annoying because you'll be halfway through a mission and you'll get an achievement that you got like 2 levels ago. So
you were so right. They're like, they delay the fuck out of this shit. Sometimes, like I remember one time an achievement popped up when I was playing Xbox 360. It crashed my whole damn game.
Oh yeah, you got to turn the notifications off, and that's the only way you can play it. Like I stopped caring about achievements like after high school. After I got my freshman year of high school, I was like, nah.
That's crazy, man.
Why does it matter?
Hey man, somebody gotta say it.
I don't understand.
It doesn't.
I was saying, like it's crazy. Like
what?
Jay said that we haven't.
Arguing was like, did you beat the game? I thought that was all you had to do was just beat the game. Now what? You need a platinum before you could talk about games? What the hell?
But did you beat the game by doing? You remember that achievement in Assassin's Creed 2 where you had to sweep 5 enemies with the axe or whatever? But did you do that? Yeah. Like that shit was so hard, and like I think back and I was like, why did I waste my time in high school?
Why would I waste your time doing that? I don't care. Right?
I agree. Fucking points, bro.
Shit, bro.
The only game I cared about back in the day was the original Modern Warfare, and getting all the achievements for that.
Yeah. The mental strain to get it.
Like, if you
like Gears, maybe like Gears 2.
Yeah. Like maybe you want a challenge or something like that. Like that's totally fine for like people who like challenges or like specific like cool things they want to do. That's totally fine. But like I feel like the loser shit comes in when you try to use that to like hold that over someone's head. Now I'm totally fine for you talking about like, well, I beat Dark Souls, well, you guys are trash, and I totally understand that because you a god if you beat Sekiro, but other than that, like I don't understand this whole like you got to beat a specific like achievements or something like that. I don't think. I think I'd actually argue you're more of a loser if you have like 10 platinums, whatever it is. Like I'm like you have no life. In my opinion, if all you're doing is really completing stupid ass little like things that the developers thought would be cool for you to do just so you can get a little virtual like icon to say that like, oh, congratulations, you spent like a reasonable amount of time doing a bunch of stupid shit to get like
not trying to platinum Ghost of Tsushima like that one dude in 24 hours.
Like I've platinum certain games, like it was just like I feel like that's just a sign of like I really love this game and I wanted to do everything in this game. But like there's sometimes I agree with TBH, there's some of them where like you look at some of their achievements and you're like, this is some stupid shit. I remember one I was going through it, I was like, hey, I think it was like Shadow of Mordor. And I was going through the achievement list. I was like, oh, I see it as if I beat the game or whatever it is, and I'm at like 75% completion of the achievements, I'll be like, fuck it, I got time. I'll see if I can finish the rest of them. But if it's just like you go into a game and you're like online looking at like trophies, list of trophies, and you're writing notes of how you gotta do it and what you gotta.
It's one thing if it happens. It's another thing if you plan your day, your week, your month around trying to get plat. That's a little weird.
Yeah,
like
that's some hella like weirdo shit. So yeah, that's not for me, bro.
I mean,
if that's you, go for it, bro. More power to you. I'm not gonna tell you what you can and can't do. I'm not one of them people.
But just don't be coming at other people saying that like they're not a true gamer or they didn't really like the game if they didn't platinum, and that's dumb.
It's statistically proven the average gamer nowadays is 34 years old or older, and it's like people got families and things to do. Niggas have mortgages and shit, and it's like we just don't have time to sit and platinum everything. Some people just want to have an escape for a few hours that they have and have a good time. It's not that deep.
Again, I wish I had the time to do this stuff now. I don't.
You talking about like
that's my platinum, taking care of my kid.
Pretty much, yeah. That's my biggest achievement, my greatest achievement right there.
You talking about like masochism when it comes to like Dark Souls and Sekiro, the types of mental strains that people put on themselves trying to veteran like old Call of Duty games and like Halo just to prove a point that they're better than you at a campaign. Come on.
At a campaign?
I'm not gonna lie, I did that stuff though. I didn't brag about it, but like I did that stuff. I was trying.
You did that shit when we were in our 20s, dog.
Exactly, yeah, we were young.
It's crazy, low key, like the conversations we had before fucking recording, like we talking about getting money and elevating the culture. We over here talking about getting M's, and niggas is on the internet still threatening to kill each other over trophies. That shit is kind of wild, bro. Like niggas got kids, they got mortgages, and y'all threatening to kill each other over trophies, and you're not a real gamer.
Imagine at 31, I'm bragging about trophies. Like that's silly, though.
We talking about M's over here. Anyways. What's it? But I thought that was just interesting. I was like, damn. I was like, they're rolling out achievements. Does anybody even care about that anymore?
Like that's cool. You remember? I think we talked about this too when Sony was talking about like they'll like give you gifts and stuff if you like get a certain amount of trophies. I thought that was cool, like rewarding people, like to give you an actual incentive to do it. But I don't know what happened to that program because like I literally heard nothing about it since like we first saw the news. I don't even know if they're still doing it or not.
Just bragging rights, and that's literally it.
Yeah, but that's all it is. It really is just bragging rights.
Trophies and Microsoft points will never become relevant to me again unless they incentivize where like Microsoft points you can spend them in the store to buy games or something like that. Even if it's a lot, like 20,000 equals $10, I don't care. Like it's something. I know I'm working towards something.
Listen,
but if they don't do that, I don't care.
I could buy a $60 game for real. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, y'all can have my Microsoft points. But I need Ethos to put on this game developer hat for me on this next topic. So PlayStation 5 will have an activities feature that starts individual game features. Let's see. So even though it'd be fairly fast to boot games, we don't want to have the players have to boot the game, see what's up, boot the game, and then see what's up. Multiplayer game servers will provide the console with a set of and that's I need an explanation. What the fuck does this mean in terms of like the PlayStation 5?
What does this boot the game up, see what's up? Boot the game, see what does that mean?
Single player games will provide information like what missions you can do and what rewards you might receive for completing them without booting up the game. Like that's an example. And like that's what I was gonna ask. I was like, so I guess you can load certain features in the game without actually loading the game up. I was gonna ask you, like, as a game developer, how do you see people using this? Because this sounds stupid as fuck. Because I'm not gonna lie, the entire time they bragged about their SSD, and I'm like, isn't the entire point of the SSD to just boot it up faster?
Play the game faster? Yeah.
And now you're telling me I don't gotta boot it. Like, what do we do? It just sounds stupid. How would you use this?
Playing like part of the game, like segment of like a demo? Like, is this like a demo? It sounds like a demo. Is this like a play a part of the game to see if you like the activity?
No, apparently, I guess if you have a game installed, one of the ways they say you can use it is, oh, you haven't completed missions X, Y, and Z. You'll see that on the dashboard instead of booting the game up. It partially loads the game, I guess.
Information like what missions you can do in immersive. All those choices will be visible in the UI. As a player, you just jump into it. This is confusing. Wait, wow.
Yeah, like the way that they're explaining it, I'm confused.
Mike Cerny, bro, what the hell? What? Hold on, I'm gonna like speed read this. Like, this like interview. I don't understand what this man is talking about.
So, I'm just trying to figure out what they're gonna use this for. Why would this be valuable?
Okay, like this sounds like similar to the thing what the PS4 does, where it's like you can decide. Okay, is this like? This sounds like it's like a more like fine tuning of like, you know how you could buy a game on PS4 and you could be like download the multiplayer first before the single player. Like, maybe that's like this system, but it's like you can specifically target specific things in the game that you'd want downloaded first to play. So I guess like maybe if it's like a multiplayer shooter, you'd be like, okay, well I want to play like TDM first. So maybe it could like bare bones install just the stuff so that you could play TDM, and then you'd be able to play it, like offer it while
so but what would be the usefulness of that? Because let's say you download TDM and you hop on the game. Now the rest of the game is going to take fucking 8 hours to install because you're playing the game.
I mean, like,
when you could just download it in 30 minutes.
We don't
Unless you live in the Midwest, then it's going to take 6 hours.
We just don't know the specs, right? Like, we don't know if like they're actually like finding a way to improve like the network downloading system. One of the things about the new tech that I think is very interesting is with the new architecture, specifically with Microsoft. I know that this is one of their big selling points, is that hopefully what happens in the new generation is like we have better compression algorithms working with like our data. So the idea is that like the problem right now, so the big problem with like Modern Warfare and a lot of other games right now is that like they're massive. If you guys remember, do you remember when Titanfall 1 came out? Do you remember how the sound files were like 50 gigs? And that's why the game was like...
I unfortunately remember them, because they were uncompressed.
Yeah, because they were uncompressed. It's like that thing. So it's like, this could be the idea of like in the beginning, what's happening is like these next generation of consoles is they're finding better compression methods so that in theory, honestly, like that's one of the things that I feel like no one is talking about with the next gen that I feel like I'm hoping this is like what they're talking about is that they're finding better ways of being more efficient with how you compress data and how you compress files so that now like games aren't going to be 100 gigs to download like these next gen games. Like maybe now they'll end up being 20 gigs. They'll now end up being like 5 gigs or 10 gigs because they have better ways of like compressing that data so that they can transfer it over the internet way faster than like right now. Because right now the current like infrastructure doesn't like they can't handle 8K textures and all these advanced like graphical things that are now in the games. They can't like push them through from a data standpoint at like a smaller compression rate. So I'm hoping like with this new hardware, like that's maybe what this is achieving, that like we can get these smaller bits of games like pushed through faster so then we don't have to worry about
with videos.
Yeah. Like, well, like I don't know what to describe. Man, this is so
most people actually listening probably don't know what Handbrake is. Never mind.
Well, it's not even that. It's just like it's hard because like this is all theory. We need to like we won't know until literally these consoles come out. We can actually like see like how long it takes because like,
what I don't know what I'm kind of getting out of this. Like just imagine like Ghost of Tsushima, for example. Like I feel like
that loading time is ridiculous. Oh, that was something we forgot about last week. That loading time is ridiculous.
Yeah, what I feel like what he's trying to explain, what Cerny trying to explain, like before you even click in the game, like maybe you'll see like the map or something or your journal in that game, and it'll show you like all the mission that you have to do and the rewards. Maybe something like that. Maybe it's giving you like a glimpse of like a menu or something in the game itself before you even load it up.
According to the report, the feature will let you load individual game modes like skipping straight to the race in WRC9 and bypassing the menus entirely.
So just jumping straight into it without having to load up the full game, go to the main menu, and then choose whatever you want.
Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to do that all with no context?
Well, there was a patent that PlayStation Sony had put out where there's like an instant demo feature where it'd be like you could be on the store and you'd see a game that you'd be like, oh, I'm interested in like seeing if this game's worth it, and you'd hit a button, it would like immediately throw you into the game where you could test it out. That could be what this is also related to, where like it takes a chunk out of the game and you play it.
Like an instant demo.
Yeah, like an instant demo, exactly. That could be part of this. Like this is obviously something more like this seems like a more advanced version of the whole like download single player or multiplayer first. Like maybe this is more like I want to play TDM right away, and like because it's way smaller, like somehow the developers are able to like segment their game perfectly so it knows like what's the minimum amount of like stuff needed in order for this to run properly. And then you can do it and you could play the games much faster. Like this could be a solution for the whole like games are massive or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be space thing, but it could also be just like, say, you know, if any of us are trying to play a multiplayer game and you know, we're waiting on someone to load their game, maybe they can just hop straight into it. Like, hey, we're in the lobby, we're in the TDM lobby right now. Just boot it up, and they just click on TDM, and then you're automatically in the party and you're ready to play.
Right, and you're ready to play. Yeah, that could be what this is. Again, like, this is very vague.
Which might be a game changer if this is true. If we're like gathering what he's saying correctly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, imagine like you the new 2K comes out, right? And you guys just want to go to the park, and you can just click it and you'll immediately be in the park.
Oh
like,
my god, because
all that
loading screens were too long, so yeah, that actually would be fire. But
so,
I
like,
mean,
maybe like when you boot up games now, like that could be what this is. Like, instead of you like, so for Call of Duty, right? Instead of you having to boot up Call of Duty, right? Boot up, click multiplayer, wait for that to log you in, get into multiplayer, group up, then pick a game mode, then like that, right? Like immediately it's like, okay, I want to play Warzone. I click it and then boom, I'm already on the Warzone like main menu ready to go. Like I'm ready to just, or like you just click it and you're immediately like queued up and then you just boom and you're getting ready to jump out. Like it could be something like that.
The problem of the PlayStation 4's party system too.
Yeah.
Because like that, when somebody invites you to the game, if you don't click on it in time, you got to go to the main menu to accept the invite. So hopefully,
do all that shit.
Yeah, hopefully they can get that right.
That could be what this is, maybe.
Yeah, it would be interesting. It's all a bunch of skepticism. They just need to go ahead and announce the price and shit, especially because these things are literally supposed to come out in this fall. We're in fucking August, and where's the price point for the Xbox and the PlayStation?
They come out in November, right?
Where are the pre-orders at? Like, what's going on?
Someone said like November or not November. They said September. Apparently, that was like basically going to be it.
Nigga,
like,
we're months away. Yeah, and fucking, there's no pre-order. We don't know what the price is. And then PlayStation said they're doubling down. They're gonna have more units. So why are you hiding it?
Well, this is the Alamo. You know, they both point guns at each other like, yo, go for it. No, you go for it. Like,
that's what it is.
Like, right. Like, how you gotta remember
my GPU.
Yeah, like whoever goes first, basically, like you set the stage of like how people react to you. So like, if like it was just like the Xbox One thing, right? Like they came out on stage, they said the DRM thing, and then everyone was like, "What the hell?" And so then Sony quickly last minute was like, "Oh, get rid of that thing, hide it. We're gonna not say that. We're not gonna do that." So they had that little like initial reaction, and they could like modify something. So if Xbox comes out and their price comes out and the price is like, let's say, too damn high, and people are like, "What the fuck?" and Microsoft and Sony was gonna be like, "Fuck, we were gonna do that price sprint range too. All right, reduce it. Let's take the L." They'll do it, right? Like
that's how the PlayStation 3 took an L. Because remember,
that's how PlayStation 3. Yeah, that's exactly why PS3 took a massive L. Because remember that price came up, it was like, "What the fuck?" And then Microsoft was like, "Oh,
$100,
way cheaper." Like, yeah.
Nobody.
Well, they take it too long. I'm waiting on somebody to strike first.
Yeah. Hey, who cares about that? Go get a Nintendo Switch.
I'm just waiting because I'm trying to pre-order. I'm trying to make sure I get a PS5. I want to be able to pre-order it, and it's fucking annoying. Speaking of Warzone, though, the new Call of Duty, there's a new leaks. The Call of Duty leaks are out. The latest leak is Call of Duty. The next one we call Call of Duty Cold War. And the reason this is somebody found like a leaked bag of Doritos that's coming for an upcoming bag, and it said Cold War unlocked 2 times XP. Also a data miner. I guess there was an internal alpha at the Microsoft store. I don't know why, but a data miner went into it and found words like Black Sea, KBG, Miami, Moscow, Armada, Prisoner, Revolution, Nicaragua, and Nam.
That's multiplayer map? Sounds like multiplayer map.
Yeah. So like, what's this doing for anybody? Call of Duty Cold War. Like, let's pretend like this is real. This is all. Take it all with a grain of salt, though.
Man, I'm a Black Ops fiend, bro. So you know, like, I gotta give it a shot at least. Like, they said there's a campaign in this one, so if I see my nigga Woods, I see my nigga Mason, you know, and it's during the Cold War, and that was like a really cold, like that was a really dope period of time in the Black Ops series. Man.
Oh, I thought you were about to say like. I thought you were going to say there was a really dope time in history. What? Like the break?
I didn't know that was not a fun time in reality.
Spooky time.
Every day you woke up and you could have died. Yeah, like that wasn't a
Sputnik and the communists. Listen, if it doesn't have a mission about the Bay of Pigs and America taking an L, I don't want to play it. We got to storm the beaches of Cuba and get wrecked.
Wasn't the Bay of Pigs in Black Ops 1? I thought. Yeah, they referenced like. Yeah, I think it was the first mission, right? You were trying to escape Cuba because they were like, "Oh, we fucked up."
It was a reference. I mean, actually going there and trying to take it over.
Yeah, I don't think there was like an actual mission of that.
That would be funny.
Yeah, I just hope like if they honestly all they'd have to do for me is like they show a campaign mission and then like your Mason or like the first nigga you see is your nigga Woods. Like if I see my nigga Woods, like I'm gonna right there be like, yo, I gotta play this.
Pause, man.
You gotta understand.
The first thing I see is my nigga Woods.
Hold on,
We're not gonna slide. That's what you just said.
I don't know. Like, that's like it's like the Garrus. Like that's the Garrus of Black Ops. Like, that's your boy, bro. Like that man went hell and back to get you out of Vietnam. Like
no, I know what you're talking about. The character Woods. It just sounded the way you worded it. It sounded funny. You want to see your nigga Woods?
Hey, yo, pause.
Yeah, you gotta say pause after that.
No, bro.
Look. We ain't got no problem, bro, with people who that are dope. Like they're dope. So I mean, I ain't got no problem with seeing my boy Woods again. I miss my I'm just saying, ain't nobody been hidden like my boy Woods and like
just
Mason.
being immature.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, they ain't been characters that have been that dope in like Call of Duty in a minute. Like, I can't remember any memorable characters like Woods and Mason.
I agree. That was like the last great story, probably Black Ops 2.
Yeah, like, and then the way they did him in Black Ops 4 was really dirty. They made this man a simulation. Like, I was like, damn, bro, that ain't the same. So, but I mean, bring it back, play Woods, play Mason, just like one time for the one time with the old school shit. Put my boy Hudson back in it. I'm there. That's all you need. I'm at least try the campaign. Multiplayer wise, it's probably gonna play like Modern Warfare. I mean, that could go either way. We'll see what happens. It could be good. It could be bad. I don't know. We'll see.
It might be a little bit hard to bring back Mason Woods and Mason because of Black Ops 2 story. Because remember, there's not that like big of a time difference from when.
Oh,
Mason
right, because that is during the Cold War period, isn't it?
So if they're gonna do anything, maybe they'll put like Woods in the game when he's like in the wheelchair and stuff like that, and he's feeding you missions. But when it comes down to it, like Hudson and Mason are like out of the picture because Mason went into hiding, and Woods is the only person out of the trio who's actually
out doing stuff.
Yeah.
Damn,
I'll
you're
say
right.
this much because they're going back in the past. Like, don't make the game like super realistic, so it gives them wiggle room to create some creative kill streaks and weapons and shit. Because I mean, Cold War, like the M16 was like what the best weapons.
Make it some spy shit. Make it some spy thriller shit. I like make it really different. I feel like you have Cold War. That gives you a lot of opportunities to really like try something like because you got to remember the whole thing about the Cold War was that technically speaking, no one fired a bullet in the Cold War. Like there was no actual quote unquote conflict of like both Russia and US like on a battlefield trying to murder each other. It was never like it was all espionage. It was all low key spy craft shit. And like that was one of the reasons.
Kind of the shit we're in with China right now.
Kind of like that, like
but worse.
But with nukes and you could die at any moment. But like that, that's kind of like that cool thing where I feel like your setting gives you a lot of unique opportunities to try some really like you can really do some out of the box shit that doesn't have to be historically accurate because a lot of stuff is hush hush, like whispers of what happened. So I feel like we could create some really cool scenarios. I think that was the cool thing about Black Ops 2's flashbacks was because it was in that era. There's a lot of these smaller skirmishes like in Africa and whatever it was, where you're like, was it proxy battles that were happening? But it was low key. The people behind it was like the U.S. and Russia. So or the USSR. So I think it was pretty cool.
When it comes down to it too, like Call of Duty's been hinting heavily with like the past couple of games with their stealth system.
Yeah,
with World War II and Modern Warfare, they've been putting in like a lot more stealth missions, and then the sight icon on the game. So they do with Cold War, like these covert op type missions are going to be even better because like if you go back, if you're a history buff and you go back into like the Cold War of the 70s and then before it ended in the 80s, then there's a lot of like. There's a lot of like Cold War stuff that almost made it a hot war.
And the final mission could end, since like it kind of ended late 80s, 90s, the final mission could be you get to reenact Rocky 4 where you get to take on the Russian.
Oh my God.
And you get to box them up. That shit would be fire. The end. Call of Duty.
Like some of the most like memorable missions ever in like think Modern Warfare 4. One of the most memorable was the ghillie suit mission, right? It was like the stealth mission. So I feel like if they made a whole game that was really like imagine like a whole like granted I doubt this will happen because again you know how Call of Duty players are, they only go out the boom explosion Michael Bay shit, but if they made a more low-key campaign which was like more like a not Dishonored, a more like stealth based, like Sam Fisher level like type of thing, whereas you got to be more like low key when like killing people. I think that low key could be lit. That could be really lit. So, but they're not gonna do that. It's Call of Duty. What are you talking about?
Well, you gotta admit, everybody's favorite mission in Modern Warfare is like when you have to go to that dude's mansion. Like that's everyone's favorite mission because you're going in quiet, and like if you get caught, you have to restart. You have to restart that mission.
And do a couple of those old school breach things where you have to breach through like all silently and stuff.
Yeah.
Could be some heat. But I don't trust Treyarch. They're gonna fuck it up somehow. So whatever.
I do notice the trend of like they're like, you know what, we've gone too far in the future. They probably just ran out of ideas. Let's go back because we know that since they went back with Modern Warfare, why not just go back to original Black Ops? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, yeah, pretty much.
Interesting theories by you all.
We know we're wrong.
What I'm most surprised about is we haven't heard any official news, and we are in August. If this is supposed to come out in October, they are being very, very hush-hush.
Yo, time is really flying. Like it's actually hitting me. Like
it's the coronavirus.
Yeah, I have no.
It has everything on delay.
Everything's been delayed. That's probably why they haven't shown anything yet.
That's actually a very good point.
That's great though, but it's still Activision, Ethos. Like what do they not get excited about Call of Duty? It's really all they have now.
To be fair, we heard all those rumors and those statements about like Sledgehammer. Remember, Sledgehammer was supposed to work on this, and they fucked it up, and then Treyarch had to step in to fix it. So, or like whatever Sledgehammer was working on, apparently like Activision was like, yo, this shit is garbage, bruh. Yo, Treyarch, come in here and show them how to make a game. So apparently, I think what it was that delay. Like this was before coronavirus showed up. Like this news article, like rumor came out. So I think it was just simply that's why it's been taking so long. Like honestly, what I think they should do, and this is real, they should do what Ubisoft did. I think Modern Warfare right now is in a really good place. Like, I think the game, this is like one of the few CODs I've ever seen where over time it got better, not worse. So I feel like they should just honestly, Modern Warfare is in a good spot right now. There's no reason that you should even like need to take that player base and force them to a new game. I say, if you have to, like show Black Ops, don't even drop it until 2021. Like, don't even drop it this year. Wait till next year to drop it. Give them more time to work on the game, and then literally just keep pushing these updates for Call of Duty Modern Warfare, because they've said they've made more money off the Battle Pass system than they have with the old loot box system. So, I mean, why keep that momentum going? Why need a whole brand new game? Jump half your people, and then on top of that, the other thing is Warzone. Like, Warzone's this whole weird entity that supposedly like persist past like the numbered Call of Duties, because it's a whole separate game. So it's like, how does that even work? How do you weave that into, like, if Cold War goes back, how does that even work? You know what I mean? So, I mean, delay it. You're taking so long to kill this game, delay it, bro.
I 100% agree. Like, this should be the first year that there will be no new Call of Duty. I would be perfectly fine with that, and I think a lot of other Call of Duty fans will as well, because like Etho said, Warzone is actually doing amazing. They're about to go into the next season, so and they're going to continue that, obviously. So I feel like you would be alienating your player base if you just drop this out of nowhere and it still comes out in October. Because are you going to make a BR for this too? Like, I don't even know how that would work in the ecosystem. So
because Warzone, that's its own entity, right?
I mean, it's free. Yeah. It's technically not even tied to the campaign.
Even though, like, literally all the people in there, like, the whole way they're doing the seasons is based off of the campaign's events. Like,
yeah, so it is what it is.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. It's like Captain Price, like all these, like they just, I don't know if you saw it, but just now they just revealed Shadow Company. Like, that's Shepard's people from Modern Warfare 2. Like, so they're laying out basically they're laying out Modern Warfare. They put Remember, they brought Ghost in. That was like the first, because they didn't show him in the original campaign. So they're towards Modern Warfare 2. They're setting up these characters for Modern Warfare 2. So it's like, you're doing it through Warzone. You're progressing a story through Warzone. So it's like, how do you even incorporate like Woods and Mason and the rest? How do you even do that? So I don't know. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be very weird.
So yeah, I agree. I think that they should delay it. Like, even though Cold War, like, if this is real, which most likely is, just wait until next year.
We ain't no rush. Modern Warfare's fine. We ain't got no. People don't hate it. Like,
that kind of shocks me too, because we are in August, and this leak was literally just like last week. Usually, Call of Duty leaks are like in April.
April.
Yeah.
But March, we know what the name of the game is. Like, we didn't even know what the name of the game was until it got leaked in like May.
Yeah, they usually have like an event or whatever, but obviously you can't have an event. But they can still do an online thing, so yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Weird. Shit's weird right
now. Maybe they're waiting for the PS5 to reveal its release date of the Xbox. I don't know.
they're the third entity hiding. Who's gonna show their price?
Because like they can't release their release date until we know when the consoles come out. Because if they give up their release date, it's gonna give up the console, I guess.
Yeah, but
interesting point.
Oh, that could be the theory. A game theory. Good job.
Yeah, because if they say we're coming out November 15th, we know the PS5 is coming out on or before November 15th.
Wow. Yeah, but this alleged leak says October 5th, so again we don't know. Sure.
We shall see. Last story I got on here is Ninja's going to Hollywood. I'm gonna be honest, I can't describe how much I don't care about this, but JG wanted it on the news.
I don't really care either. I thought you was fishing for news, so that's
I don't care about him going to Hollywood. Does anybody have a take?
The only thing I would say is I feel like that's the next natural progression from him.
Respect
you don't
the grind, definitely.
Yeah, you don't want to be a streamer all your life, so you gotta be able to move on.
That's not true for most.
Well, yeah, it's not true for most, but if you're in the position that he's in, being the number one like gamer period in a lot of people's eyes, you gotta do stream. Like streaming should really be an afterthought for him at this point. And I read a little bit of the article. It's actually a very long article. I was like, damn, I ain't trying to read all this shit, but I like skimmed through it. Yeah, I was like, damn, I thought it was gonna be like a couple pages. Like this thing was very, very detailed. But he went on the Masked Singer, even though he was the first one that got booted off because he was trying to rap and shit. It was very corny, cringy. But yeah, I'm slightly interested to see what else he'll be into. He's the first gamer with his own shoe.
What kind of movies could you see him in? Like, because it's one of those things. Like, I definitely respect the grind, but like just from watching his streams and his YouTube videos, I don't really see it in terms of acting with him. I could
like his personality. Yeah. I don't know what he could be in. To be honest, I don't know. Maybe like if Ready Player One came out, like in a couple of years, maybe he could be
maybe
in
like a kids movie. I could see that, like some Disney Nickelodeon shit.
He could be like the New Age Fred or some shit. I don't know.
He could be the Mission Impossible nerd, like the dude in Mission Impossible.
On the computer.
I can only see him really doing that because he can basically do that shit from home. He can just turn his little studio that he has and just literally change it to where he's.
This nigga said he's the White Wade from Kim Possible.
Like literally, that's all you can really see him doing is like nerdy shit. You can't really see him in. Sorry, but you can't really see him in.
He can prove me wrong. Like I would 100% give him my respect if he pulls some. Like I can't see him like in a serious like drama or even a comedy. I don't think he's funny. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it would have to be
romantic comedy. Yeah. Is he considered like a ladies' man? Like I don't know.
No, he doesn't play with girls. Remember? Come on.
This nigga's on one. This nigga is on one this episode.
I'm not wrong. He doesn't play with girls.
He's not wrong.
But yeah, he would have to like be some sort of like children focus content, but I'm just like I'm interested to see him invest into himself and maybe others as well. That's what I'm more interested in, not necessarily just seeing him being in movies as well. Like I'm willing to see I feel like actually use all their money, especially that $30 million that he just got and invested into something that's more official.
Yeah, so, even though I can't see him in a movie, I still respect it just for the simple fact that like whatever he does, whatever doors he opens, we all get to walk through it. So he opens gates for us. You can't be mad at that. If anybody doesn't have anything else to add to this, or you don't have anything else you want to talk about, we could wrap it up. Does anybody else have anything to add to the show?
Wrap it up, B.
Yeah. All right. It's always crazy too because I always tell JG like I don't know if we have something to talk about this week, and then we ended up going 2 hours. We thug it out. We're pros over here. Cut the check. All right. So you're my guest today, GB. So you got the show floor. What is your closing statement for Gaming Illuminati episode 102? Go.
I want to thank everybody for bringing me on. And JG's like who wants to be next. I say, man, that's a really great birthday gift right there the whole time. But I want to thank everybody for putting me on and bringing me on. I'm a huge fan of the show. Shout out to the home team, Grand Scheme Gaming. And if you want to follow me on my socials, it's just Sensei Passe or just look up GB Kid. But I appreciate y'all.
Hey, do me a favor. If you're watching the video version of this podcast, if you made it to the end of this podcast, leave a comment in the comment section below saying happy birthday, GB. So we know, we can see how many people actually made it to the end. That'd be dope. Ethos, you got the show floor. What's your closing statement for episode 102? Go.
Yeah, shout out to everybody for listening to us. Appreciate y'all. Again, I would like to read a public statement that that I have, again, never given my opinion about The Last of Us 2. So please stop tweeting me. All I said was that Ghost of Tsushima was more engaging of a story to begin off than Last of Us 2. That does not mean that I think that all the writing in Last of Us 2 is shit. That does not mean that I think the entire game is shit. Just that I enjoyed playing Ghost of Tsushima's beginning story better than I did Last of Us 2. Thank you.
JG, you got the floor. Closing statement. Go.
Please put all towards JG. Thank you.
That's not happening because I'm the good guy. I don't start shit. So first I want to say a huge shout out to GB for being readily available. We don't know what happened to the last guest, but I did see you in the comments on Patreon. So and then when you said that it was going to be your birthday tomorrow, I know happy birthday. I'm glad that this is a good happy birthday gift for you. So again, appreciate you for being on already. Second, I want to say please keep tweeting Ethos about this The Last of Us 2 mess because it's pretty hilarious, I must say, because they're coming at him very, very hard.
Did that tweet go viral or something, or are they just losers? They won't let go.
That man had 20 followers. He was
I think
because I don't even know what y'all talking about.
It didn't. I think it went viral in the wrong area.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it didn't go viral to like the masses. It was just one person in a certain community that spawned like everybody coming at him. So that is what it is. And third of all, I want to say I see 3 people of color podcasts that are on the main screen of Spotify in the gaming section. Us, it's Spawn on me. Shout out to Khalif and Gamer Tag Radio. Shout out to Paris. Spotify, where y'all at, bro? Like, cut the check. Or like, you got us on there. We obviously are popping. We obviously are popular. Come on, talk to us. What's up?
5 stars on Apple Podcasts. So.
I'm saying, like, we on multiple platforms, but on Spotify, we getting some love. We on the front page. What's good?
You trying to manifest the check, basically. Said we've been putting in work since what, 2014? It's time to cut the check. Yeah. All I gotta say for the end of this episode is somebody had left a comment on the last episode. I'm not gonna say their name because I'm honestly not upset, but they were upset about I don't even know what they were. Our take on Joe Rogan or whatever. Honestly, if you disagree with something we say and you feel like we're emotional or butthurt, which I personally don't, I think we just be having fun and having conversations that aren't that deep. But if it really hurts your soul like that, you guys are always welcome to come on the podcast and tell us how we're wrong about something. Just keep in mind you got to pay just like everybody else. So we'll gladly take your money. Just you know, I will say when I extended that invitation to the person who left that comment, they backed up and they were like, "Oh, you know, I was a little emotional, you know, so you don't got the money." Got you. Anyways, this has been Gaming Illuminati episode 102. I appreciate everybody coming through to the video, to the podcast, whatever, however you're listening to it. Can I remind everybody, please rate this show 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. It helps move us up the algorithm so we can one day finesse that check from Spotify or whoever else wants to cut a check. Make sure to cop some merch designed by humans.com. Search the Gaming Illuminati t-shirt. It's called GI versus everybody. And if you're watching the video version of this podcast when it drops, make sure to leave a thumbs up on the video to help us move up that YouTube algorithm. Other than that, all I gotta say is we appreciate you watching. TikTok no longer will exist pretty soon. So you guys won't be able to, what do they do over there? Dance. Steal other people's content and then mouth. Yeah, steal other people's audio and then mouth over it and pretend like it's their content. My bad. You guys won't be able to do that anymore.
Oh, they steal black people content.
Yeah, specifically. Yeah. Damn. Oh man. Colonizer the app. Can't do it. Yeah, goddamn China. But yeah, episode 102. We out. Peace.